Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Fantasy. Give opportunities and double the rewards. Chapter 41. See this scene. Du Qingfeng narrowed his eyes slightly. There was a hint of sarcasm on his face. In his opinion, Zhang Chen and the two were just trying to please others by grandstanding. Other side. The others saw this scene. His expression also looked very curious. Ji Yu Xiao held her cheek with her hands and kept scanning Zhang Zhongchen's body with her eyes. See this scene. Bai Shu originally wanted to mock Zhang Chen and others, but Zhang Daoxin had the precedent. He finally suppressed the idea. Du Qingfeng, why, you two also want to test? Zhang Chen and Zhang Yu did not reply. Instead, he walked toward the star monument. The aura on his body is still getting stronger. What? After feeling the cultivation level of the two people, Xiao Lengshan and others stood up directly from their seats. His face was full of horror. Bai Zontang, how is it possible? They both have the 8th level of body training. What is going on? Xiao Lengshan, the Zhang family must have been hiding their clumsiness on purpose before. We were treated like clowns by them. After scolding angrily, Xiao Lengshan's eyes burst out with murderous intent. Just then, Xiao Lengshan felt that someone was spying on him. He looked up and found that the city lord Feng Haoshan was looking at him thoughtfully. Not only that, in his gaze, Xiao Lengshan also sensed a warning. After discovering this, Xiao Lengshan's eyes immediately sank. I had a bad feeling. If the city lord favors the Zhang family, they really don't dare to do anything. The Luoyan sect is indeed powerful. But standing behind Feng Haoshan was a dynasty. It is impossible for the Luoyan sect to make an enemy of a dynasty for the sake of a noble family. Yun Qianzhou and Bai Zontang also discovered this. His face was equally ugly. The old man in black also had a puzzled look on his face, and the weird look on his face became more and more intense. He had read the Zhang family's information before coming here. Judging from the current situation, that information is except for the name. Nowhere is right. What do the people in the Shadow Pavilion do for food? You can make mistakes by asking for information. It seems that you have to give the prince some advice when you get back. Other side. The auras around Zhang Chen and the two men surged wildly, and they waved their fists at the same time. He smashed it towards the star monument in front of him. Boom, boom, two loud noises were heard. The others watched intently. His face was filled with anticipation. However, when Zhang Chen looked at his elder brother, he almost spit out a mouthful of old blood. There was such a huge formation. He actually hit a score of 15,000 pounds. On the contrary, he followed suit. Although a lot of power has been suppressed, but he still managed to hit 40,000 pounds. Seeing his doubtful eyes, Zhang Yu smiled slightly. He whispered, "Second brother, this opportunity to show off will be left to you and Dao Xin. Eldest brother, I prefer to keep a low profile." The words fell. Zhang Yu also winked at Zhang Chen. Shit, Lao Lu is actually right next to me. At this time, look at the eyes of everyone focused on you. Zhang Chen showed a depressed look on his face. Other side, there was no expression on Yun Shishui's face. She was numb from the various slaps she received one after another today. But the murderous intention in her heart was getting stronger and stronger. This time there was no need for anyone to report the results, everyone could see clearly, and the scene fell into silence. Seeing Zhang Chen's results, Ji Yu Xiao's eyes were full of shock, her eyes kept scanning him, and she couldn't help but reveal a smile. After a while, Zhang Yu was the first to break the silent atmosphere. Looking directly at Du Qingfeng, he said in a deep voice, "Elder Du, could my second brother's mediocre talent catch your eye? The special code is unremarkable." The crowd of onlookers almost carried it in one breath. This kind of talent is mediocre, so wouldn't he and others not even be considered trash? Zhang Chen heard his elder brother's pretentious words. The forehead is full of black lines. Hoo-hoo. Du Qingfeng took a long breath and his eyes stayed on Zhang Yu for a while. Then he turned his attention to Zhang Chen who was standing aside. HMPH. Du Qingfeng didn't answer. After snorting coldly, he turned to look at the others. He spoke in a deep voice. "The first round of assessment is over, now we proceed to the second round of assessment." The words fell. Du Qingfeng took out a formation disc from his arms and threw it out, forming a small formation immediately. Then he said, "The second item is stress resistance. As long as you can stick to the incense stick for half a time, you will be deemed to have passed the assessment. The words fell. Du Qingfeng turned and left directly, heading towards the gathering place of Luoyan sect. At this time, killing intent surged in his eyes. A pair of fists clenched loudly. He screamed in his heart, Zhang family, I, Du Qingfeng, will definitely make you pay the price, and that old man Chen Hongquan, I will make you regret what you did today. Kindness. Zhang Yu and Zhang Chen also felt this murderous intention. The two brothers looked at each other. There was also a cold light in his eyes, and it was obvious that Du Qingfeng had been put on the must-kill list. Compared to Du Qingfeng's anger, Chen Hongquan smiled so much that he almost reached his ears. A pair of small eyes squinted directly together. Just now Zhang Daoshan said that the disciples of the Zhang family were all going to join the Xuanqing sect, and suddenly they got 3 geniuses for nothing. Anyone who comes will be delighted. Chen Hongquan came to Zhang Chen and others. He spoke softly, you two little friends, you have heard what I just said to Dao Xin. As long as you are willing to join the Xuanqing sect, I can apply for some additional rewards from the sect. Zhang Chen glanced at his elder brother. He smiled and said, please take care of me, Elder Chen. Ha ha ha, okay. After getting Zhang Chen's response, Chen Hongquan burst into hearty laughter. Just then, Ji Yu Xiao stood up slowly. He opened his mouth and said, I will not participate in the second round of assessment. Does what Elder Chen just said still count? Upon hearing this, the expression of the old man in black robe changed immediately. He quickly spoke, Princess, you. Before the old man in black robe could finish speaking, Ji Yu Xiao spoke first. Mr. Zhou, I will explain it to my father, so you can rest assured. Listen to what Ji Yu Xiao said. The old man in black robe opened his mouth. In the end, he swallowed the rest of his words. He knew it very well. The ancient prince loved the princess very much. Since he had already made his decision, there was no need for him to waste any more words. Other side, Chen Hongquan heard this. I immediately understood what Ji Yu Xiao meant. He quickly said, of course, as long as Princess Xiao is willing to join the Xuanqing sect, the benefits I mentioned will not change in any way. Ji Yu Xiao, okay, then I will also join the Zhanqing sect. The words fell. Ji Yu Xiao even gave Zhang Chen a special look. At the same time, Du Qingfeng saw this scene. His expression became more gloomy. The joints of both fists turned white. As for the so-called second assessment, at this point it seems a bit dispensable. Zhang Chen and others had no intention of participating. Bump. Over time, people were constantly flying out of the formation, and the auras of those who were ejected were all disordered. A lot of blood spilled from the corners of his mouth. Obviously, in the second stress resistance assessment, they have failed. As time passes by, there were fewer and fewer people in the field. Just 2/3 of the time had passed, and half of the people had been eliminated. Puff. Under this huge pressure, many people spurted a lot of blood from their mouths, but they still persisted bitterly. If you give up now, all previous efforts will be in vain, and this is a result they do not want to see. Buzz. When the incense burned to the last level, Du Qingfeng quickly moved his arm to take back the array. As the array was removed, the remaining group of people immediately showed expressions of joy, and many people even lay down on the ground, breathing heavily. But many of them still looked calm. It didn't seem to be affected at all. See this scene. Du Qingfeng spoke again. Anyone who performs well in the second round of assessment can become an outer disciple of the Luoyan sect. Those who have suffered more than 30% of their injuries can become a handyman disciple. Just then, Chen Hongquan also took a step forward. He spoke loudly. The same goes for our Xuanqing sect. As for which sect you choose, it's up to you to choose. Accepting the 3 brothers of the Zhang family today is enough for Chen Hongquan. How many disciples can he accept now? He didn't care much anymore. The situation was similar to what they imagined, and most people chose to join the Luoyan sect. But there are also many people who have joined Xuanqing sect. They are very clear about their own strength, and it is not easy to pass the assessment. If you join Luoyan sect, the days to come will definitely not be so easy. So, Xuanqingzong became a good choice. Although Xuanqing sect's overall strength has declined, it is still an old sect anyway, and there are still many opportunities within it. looking at the dozens of scarred new disciples in front of him. Chen Hongquan took out a lot of healing elixirs, distributed to everyone. Then he said, I will give you 3 days to go home and say goodbye. After 3 days, everyone will gather here and I will take you to Xuanqing sect. Thank you, Elder. After receiving the elixir, everyone responded in unison. There was excitement on his face. Subsequently, many people said goodbye to Chen Hongquan. They all rushed towards the outside of the square. The situation at Luoyan sect was similar. Looking at the people who were leaving, Xiao Lengshan and others had gloomy expressions on their faces, and their eyes looked in the direction of Zhang Chen and others from time to time. They found out. Feng Houxian unexpectedly appeared at the Zhang family's location, talking and laughing with Zhang Wenkang and others. Like an old friend I haven't seen for many years. See this scene. Xiao Lengshan and Bai Zontang's expressions darkened, and their expressions looked a little gloomy and uncertain. Yun Qianqiu also looked ugly. The three of them looked at each other. He led his tribe towards the Luoyan sect. After a brief conversation, everyone from the Luoyan sect followed the 3 major families and walked out of the square. Certainly, before leaving, Du Qingfeng still chatted with the old man in black, but did not leave directly. Anyway, standing behind the other party is Prince Ji Yu Tianshang. He still has to give him the face he deserves. As for the city lord Feng Houxian, Du Qingfeng didn't pay much attention to it. As an elder of the Luoyan sect, a small city lord is not enough for him to take seriously. After seeing Luo Yunzong leave, Chen Hongquan turned his attention to Zhang Chen and others. He said softly, I have been at the Shengxing Inn for the past 3 days. If you need anything, you can come to me at any time. Upon hearing this, Zhang Chen understood immediately. Chen Hongquan made this clear directly. If others dare to go to the Zhang family to cause trouble, just go to him directly for help. Immediately, Zhang Chen quickly said, Thank you, Elder Chen. Seeing Zhang Chen react so quickly, the look of satisfaction on Chen Hongquan's face became even stronger, and he couldn't help but smile. He said loudly, Ha ha ha, you don't need to be seen outside. As a disciple of Xuanqing sect, I naturally have to keep your family safe. Okay, it's getting late. I'll take those boys to rest first. You should go back early. The words fell. Chen Hongquan turned his attention to Ji Yu Xiao. He said softly, Princess Xiao, do you want to go there with me now, or come back in 3 days? After all, this is Kamikaze City, which is very far away from the ancient prince's territory. It is unrealistic for Ji Yu Xiao to go back. Therefore, only Chen Hongquan would ask this. Ji Yu Xiao, no need, I still have some things to deal with. I'll come back to you in 3 days. Got Ji Yu Xiao's response. Chen Hongquan walked towards the old man in black. We talked briefly for a while. Then he went to Zhang Wenkang and his party to say goodbye. Sitting behind it all, Chen Hongquan took the group of disciples he had originally recruited and headed towards the Tianxing Inn. He glanced around. Zhang Chen turned his attention to Zhang Yu and others. He said softly, let's go back too. Zhang Yu nodded slightly in response. The words fell. The 3 of them were ready to leave here. Hey, don't you see anyone else here? Just then, Ji Yu Xiao shouted at Zhang Chen and others. There was a hint of anger in his tone. A beautiful woman like herself was standing here and was ignored all the time, which made her feel very speechless. Hearing Ji Yu Xiao suddenly speak, Zhang Chen and the other 2 people turned their heads one after another. He cast his gaze towards her. Zhang Yu and Zhang Daoxin had no intention of speaking. They all started to watch, looking back and forth at Zhang Chen and Ji Yu Xiao. After all, when Princess Xiao first came here, the first time he opened his mouth, he wanted to find Zhang Chen. There must be some relationship between them. Forehead. He looked at Ji Yu Xiao who was looking at him. Zhang Chen spoke softly, Princess Xiao, do you have anything else to do? Looking at Zhang Chen's confused expression, Ji Yu Xiao suddenly felt very angry. He almost went berserk. After suppressing his angry emotions, Ji Yu Xiao said in a deep voice, have you never heard of me? Zhang Chen, I've never heard of it before, but someone in the audience just said that you are the daughter of Prince Ji Yu Tianshang. Listening to Zhang Chen's answer, Ji Yu Xiao suddenly became angry and didn't know how to continue. There was a feeling of powerlessness in my heart. Tap tap tap. Just then, a sound of footsteps came from behind. Zhang Wenqing and others came over. Seeing his son's confused expression, Zhang Wenqing immediately understood what was going on and walked faster. Without any hesitation, he came to the two of them. His eyes turned to Ji Yu Xiao. He said softly, "Ha ha, Princess Xiao, if you have anything to do, please go back to the Zhang family and talk about it. He doesn't know anything about Chen'er." Upon hearing this, Ji Yu Xiao was slightly startled at first. Then he nodded slightly. He responded, "That's fine. That's all." The group of people headed towards the Zhang family. City Lord Feng Hoshan did not leave, but followed Zhang Wenkang and others towards the Zhang family. At the same time, with the end of the test, news of the Zhang family's 3 dragons quickly spread throughout Kamikaze City. There was an uproar immediately. "What, are you sure you're not joking? The top 3 in this assessment were all taken care of by the Zhang family. Why did I lie to you?" Now this news has spread in Kamikaze City, and many people have witnessed it with their own eyes. Do you think this matter can still be false? Yes, but what surprised us was that the best performer was not Zhang Yu, but Zhang Chen. He actually hit a score of 40,000 kilograms. It's really terrifying. On the street, Zhang Wenkang led Feng Hoshan and others in front. Ji Yu Xiao glanced at Zhang Chen, then walked towards the old man in black, and the two exchanged words in a low voice. Take advantage of this opportunity. Zhang Chen quickly came to Zhang Wenqing. He spoke softly. "Father, what is going on with Princess Xiao? Do you have any interaction with her father?" Zhang Chen asked. Zhang Wenqing was silent for a while. He said softly, "The matter must start more than 10 years ago. At that time, Ji Yu Tianshang did not have the status he has today." Subsequently, Zhang Wenqing narrated slowly, "Turn out to be. Because of the rebellion, Ji Yu Tianshang was plotted by the enemy forces and suffered serious injuries. But he just relied on his own strength to lead Princess Ji Yu out of the encirclement, but on the way to the outside. The two of them also had a lot of injuries, although he managed to escape in the end. But Ji Yu Tianshang also fell into a coma. Because Princess Ji Yu was pregnant, it was even more inconvenient to move. And at the critical moment, Zhang Wenqing and his mother discovered Ji Yu Tianshang. When Zhang Wenqing saw this scene, he instinctively wanted to stay away. After all, the other party looks like he is being hunted. If he meddles in his own business, he is likely to get angry. But finally, Zhang Chen's mother saw that the other party was pregnant, and out of her instinct as a doctor, she finally succeeded in convincing Zhang Wenqing. Rescued Ji Yu Tianshang and Princess Ji Yu. That's right. I learned this from Zhang Wenqing. The family that my mother belongs to is considered an ancient medical family, but it has only existed for too long. Many inheritances have been basically cut off. That's why the Shu family didn't end up like that. At last, under the treatment of his mother, the injuries of Ji Yu Tianshang and his wife gradually improved, also because of this life-saving grace. Let Zhang Wen and Ji Yu Tianshang have some friendship. At that time, Zhang Chen was not born yet. Zhang Wenqing and Ji Yu Tianshang made an agreement after getting drunk. If two people are of the same gender, let them become brothers and sisters. If it is the opposite gender, then let the two get married. To put it simply, 2 grown men got drunk. A baby kiss was arranged for Zhang Chen. Soon after Zhang Wenqing learned Ji Yu Tianshang's true identity, I was also very shocked inside. He didn't expect that he would actually save a prince. Later, the two of them often moved around, and Ji Yu Tianshang did not look down on Zhang Wenqing because of his status. During the process, Zhang Wenqing was also given a lot of training resources. But Zhang Wenqing also understood. The identity gap between myself and Ji Yu Tianshang is too big. Frequent movement will not be good for me, and it might even cause trouble. The Zhang family is not weak in Kamikaze City. But compared to those truly big families, their strength is still far behind, and there is no comparison at all. Ji Yu Tianshang also understood this. Therefore, in his heart, he also acquiesced in Zhang Wenqing's approach. Ji Yu Tianshang knew very well. His strength can indeed intimidate many people, but he has also taken on many enemies over the years. He cannot protect the Zhang family all the time, so reducing contacts is the best way. At the same time, After learning Ji Yu Tianshang's true identity, Zhang Wenqing simply ignored the so-called oral engagement. After all, there is a gap in status here, and besides, both parties were drunk at the time, so just listen to what you said. No need to take it seriously. But he glanced at Ji Yu Xiao in front of him. A helpless smile appeared on Zhang Wenqing's face. He said softly, I originally thought that Prince Ji Yu would be like me and regard the agreement made back then as a joke. But now Princess Xiao is here. It seems that the ancient prince has not forgotten the agreement. I don't know what Princess Xiao is here for this time. I hope you are mentally prepared. The words fell. Zhang Wenqing stared at Zhang Chen. At this time, Zhang Chen looked confused. It took a while. Zhang Chen said, in other words, the current Princess Xiao is my fiancé. Zhang Wenqing, you can understand it this way. Other side. Zhang Daoxin and Zhang Yu listened with great interest. I couldn't help but sigh. Zhang Daoxin, no wonder this little princess looks for her second brother as soon as she appears. It turns out she is my second sister-in-law. The words are not finished yet. Zhang Daoxin suddenly remembered Ji Yu Xiao's attitude. She couldn't help but mutter, isn't she just like that Yun Xishui who came to see her second brother to break off the engagement? Zhang Dao said what was in his heart. Knowing that he had said the wrong thing, he quickly covered his mouth with his hands, his eyes wandering in front of Zhang Yu and Zhang Chen. However, listen to Zhang Daoxin's words. Zhang Yu didn't react at all, his expression was very indifferent, and he didn't mean to blame him. Zhang Wenqing nodded slightly. He looked at Zhang Chen. She said softly, this is what I want to say, so Chenur, you must be mentally prepared. After all, she is the prince's daughter, and she may have to wrong you. Looking at his father's serious expression, Zhang Chen looked indifferent. He said calmly, it turns out it's just a small matter. Don't worry, father, I will try my best to cooperate. Looking at Zhang Chen's relaxed expression. But it confused Zhang Wenqing. He thought, after Zhang Chen heard the news, he should become very angry. But now, not only did he not show any anger, the mood seems a little happy. Yes, Zhang Wenqing can be sure that it is pleasure. At this time, Zhang Chen was indeed in a happy mood. When the father said that this was his fiancé, he was worried about how to resolve the matter. After all, he and Ji Yu Xiao had never met before, so it was hard for him to accept the sudden appearance of a fiancé. Although Ji Yu Xiao is very beautiful, but this can't change Zhang Chen's determination. After all, there is another beauty waiting for Zhang Chen. Think of this. Zhang Chen touched the jade pendant around his waist. A faint smile appeared on his face. Mingyu, wait for me. At this time, the old man in black robe looked at Ji Yu Xiao. He said softly, Princess, do you want to speak about Zhang Chen yourself, or do you want me to do it for you? Upon hearing this, Ji Yu Xiao turned her head to look at Zhang Chen not far away, staring at his handsome face. Think back to the scene during the test. There was a hint of hesitation in his eyes. Ji Yu Xiao pondered for a while. He responded softly, Uncle Zhou, this matter is not urgent. There are still 3 days anyway. It's not too late to deal with it slowly. The old man in black is named Zhou Tong, and he is Ji Yu Tianshang's confidant. Hearing Ji Yu Xiao's answer, Zhou Tong's withered face showed surprise. To know, if Ji Yu Xiao hadn't clamored to break off the engagement, there would be no way they would be here today. After all, if Ji Yu Xiao wanted to join the sect, she only needed to ask Prince Ji Yu and report directly to the sect. But now, it's been such a big circle. It was not easy to get to Kamikaze City. Ji Yu Xiao actually hesitated. I have to say, Zhang Chen's performance just now was indeed outstanding. Even he was surprised by the result. Du Qingfeng had some good things to say. Without a strong physique, even if you perform brilliantly in the physical training state, you will gradually become weak in the follow-up. Can't keep up with those who are physically fit. That's why. Only Du Qingfeng would treat Yun Xishui like that, helping her target the Zhang family in various ways, and even not hesitate to fight against Chen Hongquan. Although I was confused inside. But Zhou Tong did not ask the reason, but chose to remain silent. After all, Ji Yu Xiao had to make her own decision on this matter. Under the leadership of Zhang Wenkang, a group of people returned to Yang's house in a mighty manner. At this time, Ji Yu Xiao stepped back again, looking at Zhang Chen from time to time, but she had no intention of speaking. After entering Zhang Mansion, Zhang Wenqing came to Zhang Chen. After looking at Ji Yu Xiao not far away, he said softly, "There will be nothing to do next. Princess Xiao finally came here, so you can take her to get familiar with the Zhang family. Leave the rest to us." The words fell. Zhang Wenqing took out a small universe bag. He handed it over to Zhang Chen. "Zhang Wenqing, take these spirit stones. If you feel bored at home, you can go out and walk around." The words fell. Zhang Wenqing walked towards the reception hall, after Zhou Tong said hello to Ji Yu Xiao. Also walked into the reception hall. It looked like everyone was almost gone. Zhang Yu gestured to Zhang Daoxin with his eyes. Seeing Zhang Yu's eyes indicated, Zhang Daoxin immediately said, Second brother, my eldest brother and I will leave first. We will come back to you later." The words fell. Zhang Daoxin walked towards Zhang Yu. Zhang Yu also took advantage of the situation and turned his attention to Zhang Chen. He said softly, "Second brother, I think what the second uncle just said is right. Kamikaze City is not particularly prosperous, but there are many interesting places. You can take the princess to visit." Subsequently, Zhang Yu patted Zhang Daoxin's shoulder. The two of them turned around and left. "Wait until the two of them are far away." Zhang Chen turned his head and looked at Ji Yu Xiao beside him, and for a moment he didn't know how to speak. The two of them just stared at each other. After a while of silence, Zhang Chen was the first to break the silent atmosphere. He opened his mouth and said, "You have been traveling all day and you should be tired now. I will take you to rest first. It will be the same tomorrow when we go out for fun." At this time, Zhang Chen just wanted to get this girl settled quickly, then go back to his room and have a good rest. However, listening to Zhang Chen's words, Ji Yu Xiao's brows furrowed slightly, looking a little unhappy. She looked directly at Zhang Chen. He said in a crisp voice, "If I guessed correctly, Uncle Zhang should have told you everything and what happened just now." Zhang Chen, "Yes, I said it." Ji Yu Xiao, "Then what are you thinking now? This princess is your fiancé." He hesitated for a while. Ji Yu Xiao still took the initiative to speak out. Looking at Ji Yu Xiao's appearance, a faint smile appeared on Zhang Chen's lips. He joked, "What I can think of is, of course, marrying you, reaching the sky in one step, and reaching the pinnacle of life from now on." Zhang Chen understood. "Now, even if you want to implement this matter, you must act a little bit dandy and not have any sloppiness. As long as Ji Yu Xiao has a bad first impression of him, the divorce can go smoothly." Really? As soon as Zhang Chen said these words, Ji Yu Xiao immediately frowned. She spoke softly, "You are so beautiful, why should you reach the top of your life? Did I ever say I would marry you?" Zhang Chen, "Oh, then what does the princess think? When it comes to this?" Zhang Chen's eyes showed a hint of expectation. Ji Yu Xiao immediately snorted. Aoran said, "To tell you the truth, this princess came to the Zhang family this time just to break off the engagement with you." The words fell. Ji Yu Xiao looked directly at Zhang Chen. In her opinion, after Zhang Chen heard what he said, he would definitely look very sad, and then beg himself not to terminate the engagement. But what shocked Ji Yu Xiao was, Zhang Chen's face was very calm, and it could even be said that there was no disturbance at all. The two of them just stared at each other. After pondering for a while, Zhang Chen responded softly, "Okay, I agree. Don't worry, I will explain this matter clearly to my father, and he should have no objections to this matter." Listening to Zhang Chen's answer, Ji Yu Xiao on the side was dumbfounded. Ji Yu Xiao, "You agreed, just like that?" Zhang Chen, "Yes, I agree." Ji Yu Xiao, "It's not, you, me." Zhang Chen's unreasonable answer directly made Ji Yu Xiao unable to deal with it, making him feel like a great failure. As soon as he opened his mouth, the other party actually agreed directly without any hesitation, which made her feel frustrated. What's going on with this guy? He's such a beautiful woman and she's already engaged to him. She doesn't know how to seize this opportunity, but she doesn't want it anymore. The thought of this, Ji Yu Xiao felt crazy. Ever since I can remember. This was the first time she was so speechless. Looking at Ji Yu Xiao who was silent. Zhang Chen spoke again. Princess Xiao, since there is nothing else to do, I will take you to see the bedroom first. Ji Xiao. No, I don't want to see any bedrooms. It's still so early and it's boring to stay in the room like this. Please go out with me for a walk. The words fell. Ji Xiao looked directly at Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen heard this. There was a look of confusion on his face. He really couldn't understand it. Ji Xiao was fine just now, why is she so angry now? It looks like he is angry. Zhang Chen had to admit it. This Ji Xiao is indeed very beautiful, even with an angry expression, she looks pleasing to the eye. After relaxing for a while, Zhang Chen said softly, okay, okay. Seeing Zhang Chen's reluctant look, Ji Xiao was so angry that she clenched her teeth and almost ran away. Call. After taking a long breath, Ji Xiao stabilized her emotions. Then he turned around and walked out of the house. See this scene. Zhang Chen could only take steps to follow Ji Xiao. Not a moment. The two of them walked out of Zhang Mansion one after another. At this time, although the sky is getting darker, there are still people on the street, and lanterns are lit in many places. Look at this lively street. Ji Xiao's mood improved a lot. She glanced back and forth at the stall and it took less than half a quarter of an hour to get out. She already had a lot of things in her hands. Certainly. What she held in her hands were ordinary objects. It's not worth a few spiritual stones at all. At this time, Zhang Chen just followed him to pay. After passing through the long street, the two came to a more prosperous street. People keep gathering here. Looking at the lantern hanging above her head, Ji Xiao's eyes showed a hint of surprise, full of novelty. He pondered for a while. She turned her gaze to Zhang Chen behind her. He opened his mouth and asked, is your kamikaze city always so lively at night? Zhang Chen shook his head gently. He responded, of course not. The reason why it is so lively today is because of the Lantern Festival, which is held every year during this time and lasts for 2 days. Lantern Festival. Ji Xiao glanced around, looking at the various lanterns, with a hint of understanding in her eyes. Ji Xiao. So besides watching the lanterns, are there no other programs during this Lantern Festival? Zhang Chen pondered for a while. He spoke softly. It's not just about watching the lanterns. At this time, many talented people will gather at Mingyu Lake to recite poems to each other and exchange their thoughts. Reciting poems and composing them correctly. Upon hearing Zhang Chen's words, Ji Xiao showed a hint of curiosity. As the daughter of the ancient prince, she must be proficient in all kinds of music, chess, calligraphy and painting. Now I heard that there is such a program. Her interest was immediately piqued. Ji Xiao. Then let's go to Mingyu Lake. It's still early anyway, and I want to see what kind of talent he is. Zhang Chen. Okay, let's go and have a look. The words fell. Zhang Chen turned around and walked towards the south. Ji Xiao quickly followed him, and the two passed through a deep alley. Came to a huge lake. Take a look. People were coming and going on both sides of the lake at this time, and the excitement was no worse than the square just now. Not only that, at this time, there are many boats in the middle of the lake. In the middle of the lake, there was a huge building boat parked, and those who were riding the small boat. Heading towards the building boat. Take a look. Most of the men on the boat were dressed in white robes, their long hair was fixed with a hair crown, and they were holding a folding fan in their hands. It is very similar to the ancient scholar's dress. Ji Xiao looked at the lanterns floating on the lake and the huge boat, and she immediately showed emotion. Seeing Ji Xiao's appearance, Zhang Chen said softly, let's go get a small boat, it's not interesting to just watch here. Ji Xiao. Okay, that's what I mean. Subsequently, the two of them walked towards the position where the ship was sent. At this time, there were not many people at the place where the boats were placed. As soon as Zhang Chen and the two appeared here, a middle-aged man came to greet them. He smiled and said, hello, my name is Wang Gang. I am a guy here. Is there anything I can help you with? Ji Xiao. Wang Gang, right. We want a small boat to enter the lake. Please give us a price for the number of spiritual stones. Upon hearing this, there was a puzzled expression on Wang Gang's face. He spoke softly, is this your first time here? Ji Xiao. Yes, what's wrong? Wang Gang. That's right. Our place is mainly a place where literati gather. We don't charge any fees, but if you want to get a ship, you must get this poem. Only if you pass our chief's appraisal and determine that your literary level is sufficient, can we send you a ship. Upon hearing this, Ji Yu Xiao turned to look at Zhang Chen. Facing Ji Yu Xiao's gaze, an awkward smile appeared on Zhang Chen's face. He said softly, "This is my first time here too. I didn't expect there to be such a rule. Why don't you show them your skills?" Listen to Zhang Chen say this. Ji Yu Xiao showed a speechless expression. You are the second young master Zhang. Just when Ji Yu Xiao was about to ask the other party to prepare pen and paper, a surprised voice sounded from behind Wang Gang. Subsequently, a group of thin men rushed up quickly, looking at Zhang Chen with surprise and admiration in their eyes. "Zhang Chen, it's me, what's wrong?" After getting Zhang Chen's response, the smile on the skinny man's face grew wider. He quickly said, "Hello, Mr. Zhang, my name is Li Sanchun. Mr. Gang has only been here not long ago. I hope you won't be offended." The words fell. Li Sanchun turned to look at Wang Gang. He opened his mouth and said, "Gangzi, hurry up and prepare a boat for second young master Zhang and others. Leave this place to me first." Upon hearing this, Wang Gang hesitated and said, "Brother Sanchun, I told you over there that you have to write a poem. Doesn't it break the rules if we do this?" Listen to Wang Gang's words. Li Sanchun was immediately furious. He spoke again. "Just go if I ask you to do it. Where does all this nonsense come from? Haven't you always liked Shui Tiao Zhe Tu? This song was written by Mr. Zhang. Do you still have any questions?" Wang Gang. "What? Shui Tiao Zhe Tu was actually written by him. This. Sudden, Wang Gang recalled what Li Sanchun called Zhang Chen. He reacted immediately, knowing Zhang Chen's true identity. He hurriedly said, "Master Zhang, please don't be offended. I am blind and can't recognize your identity. I will prepare a boat for you right now. Please wait a moment." The words fell. Wang Gang quickly retreated. At this time, he looked into Zhang Chen's eyes, full of admiration. See this scene. Ji Yu Xiao had a look of surprise on her face. She had investigated Zhang Chen before coming here. Learn from information. Zhang Chen is a playboy with no knowledge and skills. Not to mention his low cultivation level, he only spends his whole day living in debauchery. It's not an exaggeration to say it's trash. But after arriving at Kamikaze City, Zhang Chen suddenly showed off the 8th level of body forging strength, which surprised Ji Yu Xiao. But now, judging from the conversation between these two people, Zhang Chen's attainments in literature seemed to be quite high, otherwise they wouldn't show such expressions of admiration. Suddenly, Ji Yu Xiao seemed to have thought of something. He glanced at Zhang Chen beside him. Could it be that the news of my coming to Kamikaze City was leaked in advance, so Zhang Chen specially arranged for some people to perform with him here to impress me? The thought of this, the more Ji Yu Xiao thought about it, the more it seemed possible. HMPH, this must be true. Today I have to let Zhang Chen reveal his true colors. The thought of Zhang Chen decisively agreeing to terminate the engagement. Ji Yu Xiao suddenly became furious. Subsequently, she set her sights on Li Sanchun. He spoke in a crisp voice. "You just said that he wrote a song called Water Melody Song 2. It seems to be very good. Can you give it to me to take a look at, too?" Ji Yu Xiao originally thought, after making this request myself, Li Sanchun would probably refuse. After all, if it was really just an arrangement, even if there were poems, the level would not be much higher, and the whole thing would be revealed at a glance. But what Ji Yu Xiao didn't expect was, Li Sanchun heard that he wanted to watch Shui Diao Zhe Tu. It's like finding a soulmate. I couldn't wait to take out a piece of paper. He quickly handed it over to Ji Yu Xiao. Looking at the paper in Li Sanchun's hand, Ji Yu Xiao took it casually. After taking the note, at first, Ji Yu Xiao didn't care, but after looking at it for a while, a look of shock gradually appeared on her face. "When will the bright moon appear? Ask the blue sky with wine. I don't know what year it is in the palace in the sky. I want to ride the wind back. It's cold at high places." This matter has been difficult to complete since ancient times. I wish you a long life, and share the beauty of the moon with you even though we are thousands of miles apart. Looking at the expression on Ji Yu Xiao's face, Li Sanchun spoke again. This is what Mr. Zhang wrote specifically for Miss Mingyu. At first, he only wrote a few sentences. The complete version of Shui Tiao Zhe Tu was asked by Fairy Shuiyu from Miss Shangguan. As the voice fell, Li Sanchun once again cast his admiring eyes on Zhang Chen. Hearing this, Zhang Chen's face showed a hint of understanding. Fairy Shuiyu is not from Shinfeng City, but she comes to Mingyu Lake every lantern festival. And the boat in the lake. It is contracted by Fairy Shuiyu. The reason why these talents are so active is to pass the test and board the boat. Enjoy the beautiful scenery with Fairy Shuiyu. And, because Fairy Shuiyu also practices the way of sound, she and Shangguan Mingyu become good friends after a few visits. This is also the reason why she can get this article. Miss Mingyu. On the other side, Ji Yu Xiao heard this name. A hint of curiosity appeared on her face. Asked, "Who is this Miss Mingyu?" Li Sanchun said slowly, "Miss Mingyu is the most beautiful woman in Shinfeng City, although no one has seen her true appearance. But that proud temperament and those soul-stirring eyes are all fascinating. However, Zhang Ershao should know best. After all, he is the only one who is alone with Miss Mingyu. And Zhang Ershao is pursuing." Ahem, Li Sanchun hasn't finished speaking yet. Zhang Chen coughed next to him. As soon as he heard the cough, Li Sanchun reacted immediately. He quickly closed his mouth. Ji Yu Xiao turned his head and glanced at Zhang Chen beside him. He said, "Why, is there something you can't let me know?" Zhang Chen, "No, I want to remind you that the boat is ready." Sure enough, Ji Yu Xiao looked back. He found that Wang Gang had already prepared the boat. On the other side, Li Sanchun also began to think. Looking at Ji Yu Xiao's beautiful face, the more he looked at it, the more he felt that he had seen it somewhere. Suddenly, Li Sanchun seemed to have thought of something. A trace of cold sweat appeared on his forehead. He hesitated for a while. Li Sanchun took a step forward. He said respectfully, "Mr. Zhang, Princess Xiao, the Lantern Festival has already started for a while, you should get on the boat quickly." As soon as the voice fell, Li Sanchun lowered his head quickly. Hearing what Li Sanchun said, Ji Yu Xiao glanced at him calmly and then retracted her gaze. The other party could recognize her identity. Ji Yu Xiao was not surprised. He pondered for a while. Ji Yu Xiao did not hesitate. His eyes were cast on Zhang Chen on the side again. He said calmly, let's go over and take a look." As soon as the voice fell, Ji Yu Xiao walked towards the boat. Zhang Chen immediately followed. After Zhang Chen and the other two walked away, Li Sanchun breathed a sigh of relief. He showed a relieved expression. Tap tap. Just then, Wang Gang ran towards Li Sanchun quickly. He said, "Third brother, who is the beauty with Zhang Ershao? There seems to be no such beauty in Shinfeng City, right?" Wang Gang had never seen Shangguan Mingyu, but he had seen Yun Shishui. Although Yun Shishui's appearance also amazed him. But after seeing Ji Yu Xiao, Wang Gang instantly felt that Yun Shishui was nothing special. Shoo! Hearing Wang Gang's words, Li Sanchun quickly made a gesture to silence. He whispered, "Shut up, that's Princess Xiao, how can you discuss it? If you want to die, don't take me with you." Wang Gang, Princess Xiao. Hearing these words, Wang Gang shuddered immediately. He quickly shut his mouth. Li Sanchun, "Okay, don't make a fuss, just do what you need to do, and pretend nothing happened." Wang Gang, Okay. After the words fell, Wang Gang and Li Sanchun quickly walked towards the attic. On the other side, after the two boarded the boat, Zhang Chen picked up the oars at the side. Splash! As the oars slid, a burst of water flow sounded around. The waves were jagged. Water lanterns floated on the lake from time to time. Under the reflection of the lake, it looked beautiful. As the boat continued to move forward, the distance between the two and the building ship was getting closer and closer. Not only that, there were more boats around. However, these people did not continue to move forward, but kept a relative distance from the building ship. Everyone had a thoughtful look on their faces. The arrival of Zhang Chen and his companions. It quickly attracted the attention of others. However, Not all the people who came here were from Xinfeng City, and many people did not know Zhang Chen. When they saw his incompatible outfit, they immediately showed a hint of disdain in their eyes. They started to discuss, who is this? He came to such a place and even wore a brocade robe. He really doesn't know any rules. Haha, what's so strange about this? At this time of year, some rich kids come here after hearing the news, just to witness the beautiful face of the water moon fairy. HMPH, it's in vain. If you don't have real skills, no matter how rich your family is, you can't get on the ship. While discussing, many people also noticed Ji Yu Xiao. They immediately showed a hint of surprise in their eyes. However, before those people could say hello, someone recognized the identities of Ji Yu Xiao and his companions. He spoke loudly, "It's the second young master Zhang and Princess Xiao. I didn't expect them to be here at the same time. It seems that the Zhang family and Prince Ji Yu are really related." As soon as these words came out, the faces of the people around him changed immediately. Those who were about to talk to Ji Yu Xiao held back what they wanted to say. Zhang Chen was the first in this sect assessment, and his reputation has spread throughout Xinfeng City. There are very few people who have not heard of his deeds. Not to mention Ji Yu Xiao. Not only is she outstanding in appearance, she is also the daughter of the prince. Plus her superior talent for cultivation. No matter where she goes, she can cause an uproar. Although they knew Zhang Chen's identity, they saw that he was riding in the same boat with Ji Yu Xiao. Many people still showed dissatisfaction. He said, "It's nothing great to have some talent for cultivation. Besides, this is a place for poetry, not cultivation talent." That's right, no matter who comes here, they have to follow the rules. I think he is just here to attract attention. There are many outsiders among them. Their family power is not weaker than that of the Zhang family. Therefore, they don't have so many scruples. They dare not offend Ji Yu Xiao. But it's okay to step on Zhang Chen. Listening to the discussions of the people around me, he didn't wait for Zhang Chen to react. Immediately, someone jumped out to reply to the other party on his behalf. I saw. A man in a green shirt turned his attention to those who were discussing. He spoke in a deep voice, what a bunch of ignorant guys. Second young master Zhang can write quatrains like, Shui Tiao Zhe Tu, so what qualifications do you have to talk about him? That's right, you dare to be so arrogant when you come to our kamikaze city. Do you really think that no one can suppress you? Quote. At this time, the people who spoke for Zhang Chen were all literati from kamikaze city. Although Zhang Chen's style in the past made them very unhappy. But as soon as the song, Shui Tiao Zhe Tu, came out, it made these people's impression of Zhang Chen much better. Not to mention, these literati in kamikaze city. I have always been overwhelmed by these outsiders. They were already very unhappy inside. Now that Zhang Chen is here too. Of course they want to help their own people. Listening to the rebuttals of the literati from kamikaze city, the sarcasm on the faces of the outsiders became even stronger. HMPH, even though we don't come here often, it doesn't mean we don't know about second young master Zhang. I believe you know better than me what his usual character is like. Do you believe that a playboy who is usually ignorant and incompetent suddenly writes that kind of quatrain? Brother Lu is right. In my opinion, it is very likely that Shui Tiao Zhe Tu was copied by him, and he did not write it at all. Upon hearing this, the man in green shirt immediately looked angry. He spoke in a deep voice, "You are talking nonsense. If these quatrains were written by others, they would have been circulated in the world for a long time. How could it be written by second young master Zhang now? Do you, the people of Tianyu City, like to judge a gentleman with a villain's heart?" You, the man in green shirt said this. The man who spoke immediately became angry. At this time, on the contrary, Zhang Chen became an outsider. Watching everyone arguing with each other. Faced with the words of the man in green shirt, everyone in Tianyu City had nothing to say. After all, what the man in the green shirt said is also true. What a literati needs is a name. If he could really write such quatrains, he would want everyone to know. It's impossible to hide it. Therefore, there is a high possibility that this poem was written by Zhang Chen. But even if they figured this out now, they still couldn't admit Yang's talent. After all, if they did, That's a slap in the face. He pondered for a while. The man's eyes suddenly lit up. He quickly turned his attention to Zhang Chen. He spoke loudly. It's easy for you to convince us. Now that the topic of Fairy Shuiyu has been announced, no one has written a poem that satisfies her. Why don't you, second young Master Zhang, compose a poem so that we can all see your ability? If the poem passes the test, I, Yi Feng, can apologize in public. But if you can't pass, I won't make it difficult for you. Just say in front of everyone that you are a waste. The words fell. Yi Feng looked directly at Zhang Chen. A confident smile on his face. In his opinion, Zhang Chen was able to write that kind of quatrains last time. Must be some bad luck. Therefore, Yi Feng didn't think he would lose. At this time, everyone turned their attention to Zhang Chen. Want to see how he would choose. On the boat, a woman was sitting on the window sill. Her beautiful eyes were cast in the direction of Zhang Chen and others. There was a look of curiosity on his face. He whispered softly, "Is this the man that Sister Mingyu likes? Let me take a good look and see what is so special about you." The words fell. This beautiful woman turned to look at the maid behind her. He said softly, "Chower, help me deliver a message, and tell Mr. Zhang the topic by the way." Chower, "Okay, miss." Subsequently, the maid named Chower quickly walked out. Tap tap tap. Not a moment. Chower came to the board of the ship. He spoke in a crisp voice. "Mr. Zhang, my young lady has heard about you for a long time and has always wanted to see your literary talents. I wonder if Mr. Zhang can satisfy the young lady's wish." It's Miss Chower. He is Fairy Shuiyu's personal maid. Unexpectedly, she even came out in person. It seems she has alarmed Fairy Shuiyu. See this scene. The smile on Yi Feng's face grew stronger. He couldn't help but speak again. Second young Master Zhang and Fairy Shuiyu have spoken. If you really don't dare, just say that you are a waste in public, and I will not pursue this matter. Zhang Chen ignored Yi Feng's proud face. Instead, he turned his attention to Chower on the building boat. He said calmly, "Fairy Shuiyu has already spoken, so I will give her face and ask Miss Chower to tell me the topic." Upon hearing Zhang Chen's words, the smiles on the faces of Yi Feng and others froze. I agreed, this guy actually agreed. Humph, it's just about saving face. It won't be long before his true colors are revealed. Other side, Ji Yu Xiao ignored everyone's comments and just looked at Zhang Chen quietly. There was a look of surprise in his eyes. Actually, she didn't expect Zhang Chen to agree. Seeing Zhang Chen agreed, Chower spoke softly, "In such a beautiful day, drinking and having fun can be regarded as a human pleasure. But we can live so peacefully, it is inseparable from the soldiers guarding the border. Therefore, today's theme should not only be about wine, but also be related to those soldiers defending the enemy outside." Chao Ei's voice fell. The others immediately showed a thoughtful look. The brows were tightly knitted together. Even Ji Yu Xiao had a difficult look on his face. If only one of them was written, it would be better. Now it is necessary to link two, and the difficulty has increased several times in an instant. The man in green shirt kept shaking his head. Whispered in his mouth, "It's difficult, it's too difficult." The others also nodded repeatedly. Agreed with his statement. Yi Feng and others were smiling, and their faces showed expressions of watching a good show. However, at this time, Zhang Chen was happy. He himself did not know how to write poems, but he had learned a lot of the quatrains of his ancestors before. Now Zhang Chen finally realized it. There are still many benefits to studying hard. Ignoring the sarcastic eyes of Yi Feng and others, Zhang Chen stood with his hands behind his back. He slightly raised his head. His black hair fluttered in the wind. Then, Zhang Chen spoke loudly. "Grape wine in the luminous cup, the Pippa urges me to drink immediately. Don't laugh at me sleeping drunk on the battlefield, how many people have returned from the battles in ancient times." This poem is called Two Songs of Liangzhou, one, which was written by Wang Han, a poet of the Tang dynasty. Boom. Quote. As soon as Zhang Chen said these words, everyone felt the thunder in their minds. His face showed an incredible expression. Ji Yu Xiao also condensed her beautiful eyes, showing a deep shock in her eyes, and more of it was incredible. Yi Feng, no, impossible, this. However, before Yi Feng finished speaking, Zhang Chen's voice came out again. drunk in the lamplight, looking at the sword, dreaming of blowing the horn in the camp. Quote. Quote. The horse is as fast as Lu, and the bow is as loud as thunder. As for the few sentences Zhang Chen said at this time, they were written by Shin Qiji. Silence. As Zhang Chen's voice fell, the scene fell into silence, and many people opened their mouths wide. They couldn't say a word for a long time. Swish. In the building ship, Fairy Shuiyu stood up directly from her seat, with a deep shock in her eyes. If her current expression was seen by someone familiar with her, they would definitely be shocked. You know, Fairy Shuiyu has always been very cunning. She could react like this. It can be seen how shocked Zhang Chen was to her. After a period of immersion, everyone slowly recovered from the shock, but no one spoke, they just looked at Zhang Chen quietly. Yi Feng staggered at this moment. He quickly took several steps back. Night breeze. Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. At this time, there was a hint of horror in his expression. If Zhang Chen had only composed one poem just now, he could have argued again, but the other party actually composed 2 poems in succession, and the artistic conception of each poem was stunning and brilliant. Now, no matter how thick-skinned Yi Feng is, he didn't dare to talk nonsense with his eyes open. After all, there were so many people watching here, and the Yi family couldn't afford to lose face. Night Breeze knew it very well. If today's matter is not handled well, the news will spread throughout Tianyu City tomorrow, and by then his status in the family will be greatly affected. After all, Tianyu City is not monolithic. Moreover, the Yi family is also fighting openly and secretly. Those people will definitely not let go of such a good opportunity. Think of this. There was a look of determination in Yi Feng's eyes. After stabilizing your emotions, he said in a deep voice, Mr. Zhang, what happened just now was out of sight. I hope you, sir, will not remember the villain. The words fell. Yi Feng bowed slightly to Zhang Chen. I have to say, Yi Feng's attitude, it really made Zhang Chen look at him. At least this guy could afford to lose and behaved quite honestly. After the others came to their senses, they also cast their gazes over, and the local literati in Kamikaze City looked excited. The man in green shirt glanced at everyone in Tianyu City. He said in a deep voice, weren't you very talkative just now? Why don't you speak now? Upon hearing this, the literati in Tianyu City avoided looking and chose to pretend to be deaf and dumb, but the expressions on their faces were very ugly. Open your mouth now. What's the difference between that and humiliating yourself? When the literati in Kamikaze City saw this scene, they all felt elated, and their mood became very happy. It's as if he is the one winning now. Ji Yu Xiao savored these 2 poems carefully, with a strange look in her eyes. I started to hesitate in my heart. Dong dong dong. Just then, a sound of footsteps attracted everyone's attention. I saw a woman in a white dress slowly walked out of the boat. This woman has a standard oval-shaped face, and her eyes are like stars in the sky, shining with moving light. A small cherry mouth is even more fascinating, even if it's night now. Her jade-white skin is also particularly noticeable. And the woman who appeared at this time, it is tonight's protagonist, Fairy Shuiyu. Looking at Fairy Shuiyu's exquisite face, even Ji Yu Xiao showed a hint of surprise. But when she turned her attention to Zhang Chen, but he was slightly startled. Because, ever since Fairy Shuiyu came out, the people around her looked at her with more or less fiery eyes. But Zhang Chen didn't change at all, as if what appeared in front of him was just an ordinary person. His expression remained extremely calm. After discovering this, the look of satisfaction in Ji Yu Xiao's eyes became even stronger. Other side, the crowd around him was completely smitten at this time, staring at the figure with admiration. Although Ji Yu Xiao's beauty is not inferior to Shuiyu Fairy, but her identity is there. These people did not dare to show the slightest disrespect. After a short silence, Fairy Shuiyu said softly, young Master Zhang is a great talent. He has a luminous cup of grape wine. If you want to drink from the pipa, hurry up. Quote. It's a good thing to settle the affairs of the king and the world, and win fame both in life and in life, but the misfortune happened in vain. Fairy Shuiyu sighed. His eyes were fixed on Zhang Chen, who was not far away. There was a strange look in his eyes. No wonder Sister Mingyu seems to have lost her soul. A man who can compose such quatrains is indeed fascinating. After suppressing the inner emotions, Fairy Shuiyu spoke again. Master Zhang, I wonder if we can get together on the boat. I have prepared tea. Upon hearing this, the crowd around him instantly became excited. Oh my god, Fairy Shuiyu actually invited Zhang Chen. Then wouldn't we have no chance? Hey, I finally waited for this opportunity. I thought I could talk about life with Fairy Shuiyu, but I didn't expect second young Master Zhang to appear. It's really disappointing. There is nothing we can do. Just based on the 2 poems just now, no one here can win. Fairy Shuiyu invited Zhang Chen to the boat, which was expected. After discussing for a while, everyone turned their attention to Zhang Chen, wanting to see what he would choose. After all, Princess Xiao was still there. Just then, Zhang Chen actually felt a vague killing intent, as if someone was watching him. After realizing this, Zhang Chen's heart immediately condensed, and he searched around with his peripheral vision, but the murderous intention left as quickly as it came. He couldn't feel the other person's breath at all now. What's going on? Could it be that the people from the 3 major aristocratic families can't stand it anymore and want to take action in advance? But I thought about it for a while. Zhang Chen felt something was wrong again. After all, Princess Xiao is next to him. As long as the 3 major aristocratic families are normal, it is impossible for them to take action at this time. And the killing intent just now was very cold and gave me a very dangerous feeling. I didn't look like someone from one of the 3 major families. After pondering for a while, Zhang Chen understood. I can't stay here any longer. We must return to the Zhang family as soon as possible. Subsequently, Zhang Chen raised his head and looked at Fairy Shuiyu. He said in a deep voice, "Thank you for your kindness, Fairy, but I suddenly remembered that there are some important things at home, so I won't bother you anymore. I will personally make amends to Fairy next time." The words fell. Don't give everyone a chance to react. Zhang Chen directly controlled the boat and rowed quickly towards the lake shore, and soon he was far away from everyone. Look at Zhang Chen being so decisive. Fairy Shuiyu didn't react for a moment. The others also looked confused. He was shocked by Zhang Chen's behavior. Just rejected like that. Yes, I don't have any nostalgia at all. Mr. Zhang is really a role model for our generation. He can be so aloof. Can be followed immediately. Everyone also reacted. Now that Zhang Chen has left, doesn't it mean that his chance to impress has come? Think of this. Everyone was immediately excited. Fairy Shuiyu recovered from her surprise. He couldn't help but cast his gaze in the direction where Zhang Chen disappeared, and the curiosity in his eyes became even more intense. Subsequently, Fairy Shuiyu said softly, "Since the first place has been selected, I will not give any questions next. However, to thank you all for coming, I will play a song for you next, and I hope you will forgive me." Listen to what Fairy Shuiyu said. There was a deep look of regret on everyone's faces. But as soon as she said these words, the mood of these people immediately improved a lot, with smiles on their faces again and anticipation in their eyes. On the other side, at this time, Zhang Chen and Ji Xiao have returned to the shore. Looking at Zhang Chen's slightly serious expression, Ji Xiao's eyes were full of confusion. She couldn't help but ask, "What's wrong? Why did you leave suddenly?" Zhang Chen, "Nothing, it's getting late, let's go back first." Seeing that Zhang Chen was unwilling to say more, although Ji Xiao felt a little unhappy, she didn't dwell on this matter. Then, the two returned directly along the same route. Not long after Zhang Chen and the others left, the calm lake suddenly rippled. A man in black walked out of it. At this time, there was a hint of doubt in his eyes. A hoarse voice came from his mouth. Why did he leave suddenly? Did he really sense my breath? At the same time, a melodious piano sound came from the direction of the building ship. The man in black paused for a while. He quickly chased in the direction where Zhang Chen and the others disappeared. Tap tap tap, walking in the deep path. Zhang Chen didn't say anything. At this time, Ji Xiao also noticed that the atmosphere was a little wrong. She immediately quickened her pace. Swish. At this moment, Zhang Chen, who was walking in front, suddenly stopped. Bang. Because he walked too fast, Ji Xiao bumped into Zhang Chen's back directly. Ji Xiao, you. Ji Xiao wanted to criticize Zhang Chen. But seeing his solemn expression, She immediately suppressed this idea. Zhang Chen looked ahead. He said coldly, "Who is it? Come out." As soon as Zhang Chen said this, Ji Yu Xiao seemed to have thought of something. Her face changed immediately. Her face showed a solemn look. Tap tap tap. After a few breaths of silence, a heavy sound of footsteps came out slowly. Zhang Chen looked in the direction of the sound. He immediately saw a man in a black robe. The man was covered in a black robe, with a black ghost mask on his face, and a cold aura emanating from his body. After sensing the other party's peak strength in the Divine Sea realm, Zhang Chen's face became solemn. The black-robed man stopped right in front of Zhang Chen, and glanced at Ji Yu Xiao first. He said in a deep voice, "Boy, it seems that you did find me just now. I am very curious about how you found me." As soon as the voice fell, the black-robed man looked directly at Zhang Chen with sharp eyes. You know, his concealment technique, but it can even deceive the creation realm. But now, a cultivator in the body forging realm can actually discover me. This instantly aroused the interest of the black-robed man. On the other side, after Ji Yu Xiao saw the black-robed man's outfit, he immediately spoke in a cold voice, "Another secret door, what a group of lingering guys, aren't you afraid of my father's revenge?" Hearing this, Zhang Chen immediately understood. This black-robed man is coming for Ji Yu Xiao. And, from what Ji Yu Xiao said now, it is not difficult to tell that this is not the first time they have fought. Ha ha ha. Faced with Ji Yu Xiao's threat, the black-robed man laughed unpleasantly. Then he said in a deep voice, "Little princess, it is meaningless to say these things. We are just doing things for money. As for the consequences you mentioned, we can naturally bear them." As the voice fell, the black-robed man cast his eyes on Zhang Chen again. He said in a cold voice, "Boy, as long as you answer the question just now honestly, I can consider letting you go." While speaking, the aura around the black-robed man became stronger and stronger. The temperature around him inexplicably dropped a few degrees. At this time, Ji Yu Xiao's face was embarrassed. A peak powerhouse in the Divine Sea realm. It is not something she can deal with now. Gritting her teeth, Ji Yu Xiao turned her head and looked at Zhang Chen. He said in a deep voice, "He is coming for me. You should find a chance to escape later." After the words fell, Ji Yu Xiao's aura began to rise continuously, and her strength soon rose to the first level of the Sea of Gods. After seeing Ji Yu Xiao's strength, Zhang Chen was not surprised, because he had long discovered that the other party deliberately concealed his strength. The black-robed old man saw this scene. He didn't want to delay any longer. He rushed towards Ji Yu Xiao quickly, and a black dagger appeared in his hand. Swish! Ji Yu Xiao turned her wrist. A green long sword quickly appeared in her hand. Then, she raised the long sword and went forward. At the same time, she shouted, "Go!" Ji Yu Xiao understood. Now her aura was locked by the black-robed old man. If she turned around and ran away at this time, it would be no different from seeking death. Therefore, she could only choose to give it a try. Swish! After the words fell, Ji Yu Xiao quickly rushed towards the black-robed old man. Boom! A sound came out. The weapons of the two men collided quickly. Not long after the weapons were exchanged, Ji Yu Xiao let out a muffled groan, and a lot of blood from Li Li flowed out from the corner of her mouth, and her body flew backwards quickly. When the man in black robe saw this scene, not only did he not stop what he was doing, but the aura around him surged again, and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. He quickly chased after Ji Yu Xiao. Obviously, he planned to kill Ji Yu Xiao as quickly as possible. Looking at the approaching man in black robe, Ji Yu Xiao's eyes showed a look of despair. He couldn't help but slowly closed his eyes. Brush. Not long after I closed my eyes, Ji Yu Xiao heard a burst of sound coming from her ears. Kindness. The expected pain did not come, but she felt like she was being caught. Open your eyes and take a look. Ji Yu Xiao discovered that it was Zhang Chen who caught her. And, the strength Zhang Chen exuded at this time. There is actually a person at the third level of the Divine Sea realm. Boom! In Ji Yu Xiao's shocked eyes, Zhang Chen waved his fist and collided with the dagger in the black-robed man's hand. After a loud noise, Zhang Chen's figure also flew backwards, but Ji Yu Xiao's eyes suddenly condensed. Because Zhang Chen's fist collided with the black-robed man's dagger. Unexpectedly, the opponent's defense was not broken, and only a white mark was left on the fist. Ji Yu Xiao. Zhang Chen, your strength. Huh. Other side. The man in black robe also suddenly condensed his eyes. There was a sound of surprise in his mouth. At this time, Zhang Chen ignored Ji Yu Xiao's doubts. Quickly mobilized the energy in the body. He calmed down his chaotic aura. Pap, not a moment. The two landed smoothly on the ground, and Zhang Chen casually put Ji Yu Xiao down. Brush. The man in black robe stopped opposite Zhang Chen. He said in a deep voice, I really didn't expect that such a genius could appear in a small kamikaze city. It seems that you must have some secrets. When talking about this, the man in black robe had a look of greed in his eyes. Brush. The words fell. The man in black robe rushed towards Zhang Chen. Boom boom. As Zhang Chen quickly ran the chaos creation technique, the blood in his body began to surge continuously. There was a roar. Subsequently, Zhang Chen did not retreat but advanced. He took the initiative and rushed towards the man in black robe. Ji Yu Xiao saw this scene. An anxious expression immediately appeared on his face. But before she could speak, Zhang Chen has already made contact with the man in black robe. Chapter 51. With the blessing of chaos creation technique. The strength of Zhang Chen's physical body increased exponentially, and with the 9 major cyclones in his body, he did not use any weapons. He fought fiercely with the man in black robe with his bare hands. Looking at Zhang Chen with flying black hair, Ji Yu Xiao was stunned for a moment. His eyes were full of shock. Ji Yu Xiao. How is this possible? He is only at the 3rd level of the Divine Sea Realm, but he can actually confront a monk at the 9th level of the Divine Sea Realm head-on. Not only that, Ji Yu Xiao also discovered Zhang Chen's reaction ability was even more terrifying, as if he could predict the opponent's moves in advance. Actually, the reason why this is possible, naturally, I owe it to my last epiphany. That immersive battle, and the extra battle experiences in my mind. All of these made Zhang Chen grow up tremendously. And, as this period of time continues to digest, Zhang Chen's ability to respond to battles on the spot, it has reached a terrifying level. At this time, the man in black robe became more and more frightened as he fought. The young man in front of him was only at the 3rd level of the Divine Sea Realm, but the depth of his true energy made the man in black robes extremely frightened. Although the man in black robe has a state of suppression, it also felt very strenuous. Man in black robe, what kind of monster is this kid? How can he be so powerful at the 3rd level of the Divine Sea Realm? Boom boom boom. As time goes on, the face of the man in black robe became increasingly ugly. About 30% of the true energy in his body was consumed. But look at Zhang Chen. He was still in high spirits, and the energy in his body showed no signs of weakening. After realizing this, the man in black robe showed a look of unwillingness in his eyes. I couldn't help but feel a desire to retreat. Too much time has been spent here. With the current situation, it is no longer possible to kill Ji Yu Xiao. If you delay any longer, I might end up here too. After thinking about this, the man in black robe made a decision immediately in his heart. Bump. After a duel, the man in black robe took advantage of this rebounding force and quickly distanced himself from Zhang Chen. After taking a long breath, the man in black robe stared at Zhang Chen with cold eyes. He said in a cold voice, Boy, anyone who dares to interfere with our secret door will pay the price for today's actions. When I report this matter, your relatives will be assassinated endlessly. I will let you spend the rest of your life in regret. Ha ha ha. When it comes to this, a strange smile came from the man in black robe. Kindness. Zhang Chen heard this. A strong killing intent burst out from his whole body. The other party actually targeted his own clansmen, which undoubtedly touched Zhang Chen's side. Zhang Chen, you are looking for death. Kacha kacha. As Zhang Chen finished speaking, the aura around him began to riot, and cracks continued to appear on the ground. At this time, after Ji Yu Xiao felt the aura on Zhang Chen's body, there was a feeling of difficulty breathing. The man in black robe also noticed that something was wrong. The hairs all over his body stood on end, and a life and death crisis instantly filled his body. Suddenly, The man in black robe discovered. Zhang Chen's eyes were constantly changing. The pupils actually gradually overlapped. Man in black robe. What is this? Looking at Zhang Chen's surging black eyes, the man in black robe could no longer suppress the fear in his heart. He turned around and flew towards the exit. Looking at the man in black robe gradually moving away, Zhang Chen's narrowed eyes slowly opened, and the terrifying aura around him surged again. Ahem. Under the pressure of this terrifying aura, Ji Xiao couldn't help but take several steps back. There was a coughing sound in his mouth. Brush. When Zhang Chen opened his eyes, the terrifying pressure around him instantly dissipated. Subsequently, Zhang Chen spit out 4 words. World-destroying divine light. Boom. As soon as the 4 words Zhang Chen came out, a roar suddenly sounded in Ji Xiao's mind. Vaguely, she saw a terrifying black light burst out from Zhang Chen's eyes, flying out at an incredible speed towards the man in black robe. As soon as this black light came out, Ji Xiao felt that everything around her became silent, and her ears seemed to be deaf. Not only that, the sky in this area quickly turned dark, as if it had been infected by thick ink. Brush. This abnormality went away as quickly as it came. When the light comes again, the figure of the man in black robe has disappeared. Zhang Chen stood not far away without saying a word. Dong dong dong. At this time, Ji Xiao could clearly hear her heartbeat. That scene just now, the visual impact on her was too great. Ahem. Just then, a cough came from Zhang Chen's mouth, and his body began to shake. See this scene. Ji Xiao immediately greeted him. He stretched out his arm to support Zhang Chen. Only then did she realize it. Zhang Chen's eyes were tightly closed, and his whole body was trembling slightly. Ji Xiao. Are you okay? Hear Ji Xiao speak. Zhang Chen shook his head gently. A hoarse voice came from his mouth. It's okay, I just received some backlash. It's not suitable to stay here for a long time. I'll go back to Zhang Mansion first. Ji Xiao. Okay, I understand. The words fell. Ji Xiao supported Zhang Chen and left here quickly. While walking, Ji Xiao glanced at Zhang Chong from the corner of his eye from time to time, with a strange look in his eyes. Especially thinking about the scene where Zhang Chen saved himself. Ji Xiao couldn't help but blush on her cheeks, and there was a soft color in her eyes. This is only a short day. Zhang Chen's feelings in her heart changed again and again. Ji Xiao suddenly felt. It seems pretty good to have such a fiancé. Although she had many questions in her mind. But Ji Xiao also understood. Now is not the time to ask these questions. He quickly suppressed his curiosity. Other side, Zhang Chen kept thinking in his heart. The physical body is still too weak. If the strength of the physical body is not increased as soon as possible, it will be impossible to bring out the power of the double eyes. Actually, if Zhang Chen hadn't withdrawn his power quickly this time, the backlash he would have suffered would have been even more serious. But it's also time for today's battle. It made Zhang Chen understand his own shortcomings and set a clear direction for his future cultivation. At the same time, he also deeply realized the power of Chongtong. A strong man at the 9th level of the Divine Sea Realm was killed on the spot by his attack. This terrifying force, Zhang Chen was full of expectations for Chongtong. Looking at the Zhang mansion that gradually came into view, Zhang Chen turned his head and looked at Ji Xiao beside him. He spoke softly, "Princess, can you keep today's matter a secret for me?" Suddenly he was stared at by Zhang Chen's eyes. A look of panic appeared on Ji Xiao's face. After stabilizing your emotions, he quickly responded, no problem. Seeing Ji Xiao's big reaction, Zhang Chen's eyes showed a hint of doubt. But since the other party agreed so happily, Zhang Chen didn't dwell too much on this matter. Subsequently, the two quickly entered Zhang Mansion. After returning to the mansion, Zhang Chen did not disturb others, and took Ji Xiao to the room prepared for her. Zhang Chen, you should rest early. If you have anything to say, just tell the 2 little girls outside the door. I won't bother you anymore. Ahem. The voice fell. Zhang Chen couldn't help but cough. Seeing this scene, Ji Xiao couldn't help but show a worried expression. Said, how are you? Do you need me to take you back? I don't think you are in a good condition. Zhang Chen shook his head gently. Said, No, I have almost recovered now. I just need to go back and take a simple rest. The voice fell. Zhang Chen turned and walked out of the door. Ji Yu Xiao opened her mouth. In the end, she didn't say anything again. After Zhang Chen's figure completely disappeared, she slowly closed the door. As for the two little maids outside the door, they were called back by Ji Yu Xiao to rest. Under the light, Ji Yu Xiao sat quietly at the desk, holding a brush in her hand, and began to write slowly. The beautiful handwriting continued to emerge, and Ji Yu Xiao's expression at this time seemed particularly serious, and her arms kept waving. Pata gently put down the brush in her hand. Ji Yu Xiao looked at the content on the paper, and a satisfied smile appeared on her face. What she wrote at this time? It was the two poems that Zhang Chen wrote in Mingyu Lake. After a while of silence, Ji Yu Xiao picked up the pen again. Relying on the memories in her mind, she also wrote, Shui Tiao Zhe Tu. Looking at the three poems in front of her, thinking of the scene of Zhang Chen saving herself, Ji Yu Xiao felt that her heartbeat accelerated a lot. Her cheeks were also slightly hot. Ji Yu Xiao, what's wrong with me? I actually thought about that guy, As she spoke, Ji Yu Xiao herself didn't dare to say anything more, and a hint of shyness appeared on her face. At the same time, there was a trace of panic in her heart. Gently shook her head, Ji Yu Xiao quickly calmed down her emotions, and then began to practice the mental method to treat the injuries left in her body. After all, she had just endured a direct attack from the black-robed man, and many hidden injuries were left in her body. On the other side, after Zhang Chen returned to the room, he quickly entered the practice. The chaos creation art was running wildly, and the injuries in his body were constantly healing. At the same time, Zhang Chen also made an unexpected discovery. When he used the world-destroying divine light, he had clearly drained the true qi from the 9 cyclones, but now in the cyclones, some true qi was gathered again. From the end of the battle to now, Zhang Chen has not actively absorbed any true qi. This discovery surprised him a little. System, what's going on? Ding. The cyclone is different from the dantian. The true qi gathered in the dantian needs to be actively absorbed, but even if the cyclone is not operated manually, it can absorb true qi autonomously all the time. Of course, the speed of autonomous absorption is slow, far less than the speed of active absorption by the host, which is a normal phenomenon. After listening to the system's explanation, Zhang Chen's eyes showed a touch of joy. After calming down, Zhang Chen quickly entered a state of concentration, actively mobilized the 9 cyclones in his body, and absorbed the spiritual energy of the surrounding heaven and earth. After practicing for a while, Zhang Chen directly ended his practice. As if he thought of something, a smile immediately appeared on his face. Creaky. After a while, Zhang Chen directly opened the door and walked out. Dong dong dong. Hearing someone knocking on the door, Ji Yu Xiao's tightly closed eyes slowly opened. He said in a deep voice, "Who is it?" "It's me, Zhang Chen." As soon as he heard Zhang Chen's voice, Ji Yu Xiao immediately stood up. After a while, he came to the door. Creaky. After opening the door, Ji Yu Xiao immediately spotted Zhang Chen's figure, and a look of surprise appeared in her eyes. They had just separated for a while, but Zhang Chen's condition had improved a lot, and he looked very energetic, not like he was injured at all. However, after a moment of silence, Ji Yu Xiao asked, "What's wrong? Why did you suddenly come back? Is there something wrong?" "Zhang Chen, I'll bring you something." As soon as the voice fell, Zhang Chen took out a porcelain bottle from his arms and handed it to Ji Yu Xiao. When she saw the contents of the porcelain bottle, Ji Yu Xiao's eyes suddenly condensed, and a look of shock appeared on her face. She quickly took the porcelain bottle. After looking up and down for a long time, Ji Yu Xiao showed an expression of disbelief. She quickly said, Is this dragon blood pill?" Zhang Chen, "Yes, this is dragon blood pill." In fact, Zhang Chen didn't know much about elixirs, but he was not surprised that Ji Yu Xiao could recognize this elixir. After all, the other party's identity was there. Her own knowledge must be extraordinary. After receiving Zhang Chen's affirmative answer, Ji Yu Xiao's face was more shocked, and she carefully opened the bottle. After finding out the grade of the elixir, the expression on his face changed again and again. Ji Yu Xiao. It's the best dragon blood pill. Do you really want to give it to me? Looking at Ji Yu Xiao's reaction, Zhang Chen asked in confusion, what's wrong? Is this thing very precious? Looking at Zhang Chen, who looked confused, Ji Yu Xiao felt like she was almost speechless. But he still explained. Not only is it precious, the refining of the dragon blood pill is very cumbersome, and the current recipe of the dragon blood pill is also somewhat incomplete, and it cannot exert much medicinal power at all. But the one you took out is different. Not only does it reach the 4th grade, but its flaws have been perfected. It is a perfect dragon blood pill. This thing has a price but no market at all. Listen to what Ji Yu Xiao said. There was a look of surprise in Zhang Chen's eyes. He really didn't expect it. The elixir that his elder brother took out was so precious. But this is exactly what Zhang Chen wants. Because things are more precious, the more benefits you can get. Think of this. Zhang Chen responded calmly. Oh, I see, then take it quickly, it will just be enough to heal your injuries. Quote. Ji Yu Xiao. I have made its value so clear, and you still want to give this elixir to me. Zhang Chen. It's just a pill, please accept it. Looking at Zhang Chen's serious expression, Ji Yu Xiao couldn't help but feel moved in her heart. If he is willing to give away such a precious elixir, does he have any interest in me? Think of this. Ji Yu Xiao's cheeks turned red inexplicably. His expression also became awkward. Kindness. When Zhang Chen saw Ji Yu Xiao's appearance, a look of doubt appeared in his eyes. Other side. Ji Yu Xiao also realized that she had lost her composure and quickly calmed down her emotions. Said in a low voice, thank you. The words fell. Ji Yu Xiao quickly lowered her head. He didn't dare to look at Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen glanced at Ji Yu Xiao. He said, Princess, please go to bed early and I won't disturb you anymore. Ji Yu Xiao heard this. Still didn't dare to look up at Zhang Chen. He responded in a low voice, okay. Okay. Creak. With the sound of the door closing. Only then did Ji Yu Xiao dare to lift her head. At this time, her cheeks were flushed. He stared at the porcelain bottle in his hand. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but turn up slightly. Other side. Not long after Zhang Chen left Ji Yu Xiao's room, the system notification sounded in my mind. Bite. Congratulations to the host for sending a 4th grade dragon blood pill, triggering a 10-fold critical strike reward, and obtaining a 4th grade pill, Xuanlong pill. Kindness. After hearing about this reward, a look of astonishment appeared on Zhang Chunlu's face. System, you couldn't have made a mistake, right? What I sent out was a 4th grade elixir. Even if it's only a 10-fold reward, it wouldn't still be a 4th grade elixir, right? Host, rest assured, the black dragon pill is definitely worth 10 dragon blood pills, and there is real dragon blood among them. Although it is just ordinary dragon blood, it is also a rare treasure. Besides, this is not an ordinary 4th grade elixir. Oh, listen to what the system says. Zhang Chen's face immediately showed a look of surprise. Subsequently, he speeded up his movement and returned to the room after a while. After closing the door, Zhang Chen took out the elixir rewarded by the system. Zhang Chen, this. After seeing this elixir, Zhang Chen's eyes couldn't help but condense slightly. I saw. There are many lines on the surface of this elixir. And, with the appearance of this elixir, the surrounding spiritual energy seemed to be pulled. They quickly gathered in the direction of the elixir. With the continuous influx of spiritual energy, some cloud-like patterns appeared on the surface of the elixir. It turned out to be an elixir pattern. No wonder the system said this elixir was simple. It turned out to be because of this. To know if pill lines can appear, the efficacy of the medicine can be increased by at least 40%. In addition, this is a 4th level top grade elixir. Its efficacy will be even more terrifying. He pondered for a while. The exploration interface of Zhang Chen's rapid mobilization system. Name, Xuanlong Dan. Characteristics. Refined with dragon blood, it contains a large amount of energy in blood, and has the effect of strengthening the body and expanding the meridians. After reading the information about Xuanlong Dan, a smile appeared on Zhang Chen's face. Great, with this elixir, the problem of double pupil backlash should be solved. Think of this. Zhang Chen quickly adjusted his breath. After taking a long breath, Zhang Chen swallowed the black dragon pill in one gulp. Boom. Not long after I swallowed the pill, the blood in the body began to surge. Hiss. What followed was a heartbreaking pain. Under this severe pain, Zhang Chen couldn't help but suck in a breath of air. Kacha, kacha. At this time, there were constant sounds coming from Zhang Chen's body. His physical body was shaking continuously. Boom. With continuous refining, Zhang Chen felt a surge of energy and blood. It is constantly moving inside my body. Pong pong. As the blood continues to flow in, Zhang Chen's body actually swelled a bit. Clothes were stretched out. Stab. I persisted for a while. Zhang Chen's clothes were instantly shattered, and his strong muscles were instantly exposed to the air. At the same time, those muscles seemed to come alive, they began to tremble, and they continued to expand. Zhang Chen was not idle here either. He was running the chaos creation technique, crazily, refining the extra energy and blood in his body. The reason for the current situation. It is caused by too much energy and blood. Under Zhang Chen's continuous refining, the swollen body slowly lost weight. Not only that, Zhang Chen also discovered it at this time. His meridians expanded by about 1/3. That endless flow of energy and blood. It made him feel like he had endless energy all over his body. Zhang Chen. What a terrifying effect. My physical body's strength has at least doubled. If I use the world-destroying divine light now, I will definitely not suffer any backlash. After feeling it for a while, Zhang Chen discovered. Not only did his injuries recover, but his strength also broke through to the 4th level of the Divine Sea Realm. Boom. He pondered for a while. Zhang Chen ran the chaos creation technique with all his strength, and a large amount of true energy gathered towards him crazily, and the depleted true energy of the 9 major cyclones became full again. Other side, the main hall of the Yun family. At this time, Du Qingfeng sat in the main seat. Wang Ning and Yun Shishui sat next to him. At this time, as the head of the family, Yun Qianqiu. Then he sat on the elder's seat. It is worth mentioning, Bai Zontang and Xiao Lengshan were also among them. But the atmosphere in the hall seemed a bit dull. Yun Qianqiu pondered for a while. He turned his attention to Du Qingfeng. He spoke in a deep voice. Elder Du, the Zhang family is too arrogant. Now they are related to the ancient prince. I am afraid they will be even more lawless in the future. Yun Qianqiu said this. Others immediately followed suit. Xiao Lengshan. That's right, those little beasts in the Zhang family are arrogant and don't take you, Elder Du, seriously at all. Bai Zontang didn't say anything, but his eyes were filled with endless murderous intent. As Xiao Lengshan's voice fell, the hall fell into silence again. Du Qingyan slowly put down the teacup in his hand. He said in a deep voice, it's not difficult to deal with the Zhang family, but now not only is there the old guy Chen Hongquan who is interfering, but even Princess Xiao is involved. Before we figure out the relationship between the Zhang family and the ancient prince, we can't touch the Zhang family for the time being. After hearing this, although Yun Qianqiu and others were a little unwilling, but they could only nod in response. After thinking for a while, Xiao Lengshan spoke again. Elder Du, if the Zhang family and Prince Ji Yu don't have much intersection, can we just do it directly? After hearing this, the others all turned their eyes to Du Qingfeng. However, Du Qingfeng shook his head again. He said, if those guys from the Zhang family hadn't joined Xuanqing sect, your decision would indeed be fine, but it's not possible now. It's not easy to recruit such a few geniuses. Chen Hongquan will definitely not let them get into trouble. Although Luoyan sect is powerful, if Xuanqing sect fights to the death, the consequences are not something I can bear. As soon as Du Qingfeng said this, Yun Qianqiu and others also became solemn. At this time, Wang Ning stood up from his seat. He said loudly, in fact, there is a way. Oh, after hearing this, Yun Qianqiu and others immediately showed curiosity. Wang Ning did not keep it a secret. He continued, 1 month after recruiting disciples, there will be a competition between the 2 sects. As long as the 3 brothers of the Zhang family are eliminated during the competition, all problems can be solved. After all, the reason why Chen Hongquan helped the Zhang family was just because he saw the talents of Zhang Chen and others, but a genius who died midway is the most worthless. As soon as Wang Ning said this, everyone immediately understood what he meant. Their eyes lit up. Du Qingfeng also nodded at this time. He spoke softly. Wang Ning is right. This is indeed the best way at the moment. With Shishui's talent, her strength will definitely improve a lot in a month. It won't be difficult to deal with those boys from the Zhang family by then. Yun Qiancho and others nodded repeatedly. That originally ugly face. There was also a smile at this time. After talking for a while, everyone slowly left the hall. Other side, Divine Wind City, Ningxiang Tower. In a woman's boudoir. At this time, Fairy Shuiyu sat alone in isolation, and Chower stood quietly next to her. And on the table directly in front of them, there is a piece of paper. And the content recorded on the paper. It was Zhang Chenlang's poem not long ago. Fairy Shuiyu, Chower, what do you think of these two poems? I heard my lady ask. Chower didn't respond immediately, with a thoughtful look on his face. After pondering for a while, Chower said solemnly, Mr. Zhang has such literary talent, Chower dare not lie. Fairy Shuiyu, haha, listen to what Chower said. A smile appeared on Fairy Shuiyu's face. He looked up at the bright moon outside the window. He said softly, yes, this kind of literary talent is indeed rare. When Mingyu mentioned him at first, I had some doubts. But now it seems that I was too short-sighted. The words fell. Fairy Shuiyu picked up a writing brush. He began to write on the paper in front of him. Pap, after putting down the brush in his hand, Fairy Shuiyu picked up the paper. Subsequently, she turned her attention to Chower. He said softly, send this letter. I believe Mingyu will be very happy when she sees the contents. Chower, okay, miss. The words fell. Chower was about to turn around and leave. Just then, Fairy Shuiyu spoke again. By the way, after you finish sending the letter, get ready. It's time for us to leave Kamikaze City. Chower, I know, I'll get ready right away. Crunch. The door is closed. The surroundings fell into silence again. Time flies. The day passed in the blink of an eye. Zhang Mansion. Creak. Ji Yu Xiao walked out of the room. At this time, there was a smile on her face. After refining the dragon blood pill last night, Ji Yu Xiao not only recovered from all her injuries. His own strength has improved to a small level. It just came out not long ago. An old man walked towards Ji Yu Xiao. At this time, the old man came over. It was Ji Yu Xiao's protector, Zhou Tong. Kindness. After feeling the aura on Ji Yu Xiao's body, there was a look of surprise on Zhou Tong's face. At this time, Zhou Tong discovered, not only has the strength of my young lady improved, but the power of blood and energy around her has become even more surging. It's only been a day since I last saw you. My own lady has undergone such a big change. I watched it for a while. Zhou Tong still couldn't suppress his curiosity. Asked, Miss, what is your strength? Ji Yu Xiao smiled slightly. Responded softly, I gained some insights while practicing, so my strength has improved a lot. Uncle Zhou, why are you here so early? Is there something wrong? What happened last night? Ji Yu Xiao did not plan to tell Zhou Tong. After all, she promised Zhang Chen to keep this matter a secret. Hearing Ji Yu Xiao's answer, Zhou Tong had a suspicious look on his face, but he didn't dwell too much on this matter. After pondering for a while, he spoke softly, Miss, when we talked last night, although Mr. Zhang didn't say it explicitly, he also implicitly said that everything will be done according to your wishes, Miss. Kindness. Upon hearing this, Ji Yu Xiao understood the meaning immediately. His brows furrowed slightly. Zhang Chen was very willing to terminate the engagement, and now Zhang Wenqing also had the same attitude. At this time, Ji Yu Xiao couldn't help but feel a sense of frustration in her heart. After suppressing the boring thoughts, Ji Yu Xiao shook her head slightly. He opened his mouth and said, there is no rush in this matter. After all, my father has decided on the marriage. Even if the engagement is to be terminated, I have to let him do it once. Hear this answer. A look of astonishment immediately appeared on Zhou Tong's face, and he didn't know how to answer for a moment. To know, Prince Ji Yu had made it clear before coming. It is up to Ji Yu Xiao to make the decision himself, and he will make compensation to the Zhang family when the time comes. Before coming, Ji Yu Xiao had been grinding for a long time. Only then did Prince Ji Yu agree to this. But in less than a day, Ji Yu Xiao's attitude changed so much. Opened his mouth. Zhou Tong still swallowed what he wanted to say. At this time, Ji Yu Xiao secretly squeezed her little fists. HMPH, the more Zhang Chen behaves like this, the less this princess will be able to do what he wants. Soon, Ji Yu Xiao found a reasonable reason for herself. Tap tap tap. Just then, a sound of footsteps sounded from behind the two of them. Ji Yu Xiao looked back. Immediately found Zhang Wenqing's figure. After a while, Zhang Wenqing came close to Ji Yu Xiao. Smiled and said, "Princess, I have prepared the food, now let's go together." Hearing this, Ji Yu Xiao responded softly, "I know, Uncle Zhang, you can just call me Xiao, calling me princess seems too distant." Zhang Wenqing, haha, good. Then, under the leadership of Zhang Wenqing, the three walked towards the direction of the hall. As soon as they entered the hall, Ji Yu Xiao found Zhang Chen's figure, and a hint of surprise appeared in her eyes. At this time, Zhang Chen's face was ruddy, and he didn't look like a wounded person at all. At the same time, Ji Yu Xiao also found Zhang Chen's strength once again became the 8th level of the body forging realm. On the other side, seeing Ji Yu Xiao looking at Zhang Chen as soon as she came, Zhang Daoxuan and Zhang Yu looked at each other. A smile appeared at the corner of their mouths. Then, the two of them cast their eyes towards Zhang Chen. They showed a meaningful look. Seeing the two people's attitude of not caring about the big deal, Zhang Chen's forehead showed a black line. Ahem. After Zhang Wenqing saw this scene, he coughed. He kept winking at Zhang Chen. But before Zhang Chen could speak, Ji Yu Xiao took the initiative to move forward 2 steps and sat down on the left side of Zhang Chen. Zhang Wenqing and others saw this scene and couldn't help but smile. Soon, everyone took their seats one after another. There was a burst of laughter in the hall. While others were talking, Ji Yu Xiao cast her eyes towards Zhang Chen. She said softly, "Thank you for the pills." Hearing this, Zhang Chen showed a faint smile on his face. He responded in a low voice, "You're welcome, as long as it's useful to you." After taking a deep look at Zhang Chen, Ji Yu Xiao quickly moved her eyes away. The banquet did not last too long. After the banquet, Zhang Wenqing slowly stood up and cast his eyes on Zhang Chen. He said softly, "Chenur, there are some things that need to be dealt with in the shop. You should accompany Xiao well and never neglect her." Zhang Chen looked at his father's serious expression. He nodded slightly in response. The words fell. Zhang Wenqing turned to look at Ji Yu Xiao. He smiled and said, "Niece Xiao, please bear with me a little longer. If you need anything, just tell Xiaochen. I've already given instructions to the housekeeper. Ji Yu Xiao, if Uncle Zhang has something to do, just go and do it. There is no problem on my side." Got Ji Yu Xiao's response. After Zhang Wenqing explained a few sentences, he left the Zhang family with Zhang Wenqing and others. Other side, Zhou Tong walked in from outside the hall. Before and after arriving at Ji Yu Xiao, he spoke softly, "Princess, the prince has received news. Now that you have joined the Xuanqing sect, my mission is over. Therefore, I am going back today. The princess must be more careful in the future. Kindness." Upon hearing this, Ji Yu Xiao was slightly startled at first. Then he responded, "Zhou Bofeng, be careful. I will take care of myself. You tell my father not to worry. Those in Xuanqing sect don't dare to do anything." Zhou Tong nodded lightly. Then he turned his attention to Zhang Chen, who was standing aside. He opened his mouth and said, "Little friend Zhang, I would like to thank you in advance for asking you to take more care of me, princess." Zhang Chen nodded. He responded, "Uncle Zhou, you're welcome. I will definitely do my best to do whatever I can." Zhang Chen didn't say too much. Zhou Tong naturally understood the meaning, but Zhang Chen's answer was enough. After talking for a while, Zhou Tong did not stay here longer. He left Kamikaze City directly. Seeing that there were fewer and fewer people in the hall, Zhang Daoxuan couldn't help but turn his attention to Zhang Yu. Looking at Zhang Daoxuan's eyes, Zhang Yu nodded at him. "Get up slowly from your seat." He turned his gaze to Zhang Chen, who was standing aside. He spoke softly, "Second brother, let's leave first. I still have something to teach Daoxuan." Zhang Chen, "Okay, you go." A smile appeared on Zhang Daoxuan's face. He spoke softly, "Second brother, let's go first. Goodbye, princess." Ji Yu Xiao looked at Zhang Daoxuan. He nodded slightly in response. As Zhang Daoshan left, only Zhang Chen and Ji Yu Xiao were left in the hall. Zhang Chen originally thought, today Ji Yu Xiao will let him take her out. But what Ji Yu Xiao said next? But it made Zhang Chen slightly stunned. Ji Yu Xiao, I'm going back to practice first. My cultivation improved a lot yesterday, but I still need to stabilize it. Upon hearing this, Zhang Chen naturally couldn't be more happy. He responded immediately, okay, if anything happens, just ask Xiaoqui to notify me. Kindness. After nodding in response, Ji Yu Xiao stepped out of the house. Looking at the empty hall, there was a hint of thinking in Zhang Chen's eyes. Dragon Elephant Sky Suppressing Fist can be transmitted directly, but I am not in a hurry now. I can take advantage of this time to develop the potential of the double pupil. After returning to the room, Zhang Chen closed the door casually. System, I want to use Epiphany. Ding, the Epiphany is preparing. As the system's voice fell, Zhang Chen's vision immediately went dark. When he opened his eyes again, the surrounding environment changed again. The protagonist is still the same boy with double eyes as last time, but this time his opponent has changed. His opponent looked downright bizarre. Some have wings on their backs. Some are completely covered in magma. Although these humanoid creatures look very strange, the aura on their bodies is extremely terrifying. But what surprised Zhang Chen the most was, faced with the siege of these strange creatures, the boy with double eyes still performed with ease. The stern face was full of pride. There was a moment of trance. Zhang Chen found that his position had changed again. With the last experience, this time Zhang Chen acted very calmly. At this time, Zhang Chen was in the first-person perspective again. Entered into this battle. Boom. The roar kept coming. Zhang Chen felt every move carefully. After a period of fighting, humanoids are becoming increasingly rare. PFF. There was a sound. The last humanoid creature also died in the hands of the man with double eyes. At this time, Zhang Chen's vision gradually became blurred. He knows, I am about to exit the state of enlightenment. Brush. When Zhang Chen opened his eyes again, his consciousness has returned to his body, and there are many strange memories in his mind. Chaining the sky and locking the earth. Wherever you look, you can see the sky and the earth. This move can imprison the void and block all actions of the opponent. The stronger the strength, the longer it will last. That's right. In this epiphany, Zhang Chen understood the second secret technique of Chongtong. Is it blocking the enemy's movement? If used together with the world-destroying divine light, it can indeed produce unexpected effects. Think of this. Zhang Chen couldn't help but reveal a smile. Time flies. The appointed day arrived in a blink of an eye. The Zhang family and others sent Zhang Chen and others to the agreed location. At this time, Chen Hongquan looked at Zhang Chen and others. A smile appeared on his face. Then he said, okay, now that everyone is here, we should set off now. The words fell. Chen Hongquan took out a recorder from his arms. Subsequently, a melodious flute sound came out. Chirp. The sound of the flute had just come out. A cry came out from the clouds instantly. Hoo-hoo. Not a moment. A strong wind blew around, and a huge shadow appeared on the ground. Look at this sudden shadow. Everyone immediately raised their heads and looked towards the sky. I saw. A huge black hawk was approaching, and the sudden strong wind was caused by its flapping wings. Feeling the violent aura on Black Hawk's body, many newcomers' faces instantly turned pale. Subconsciously he took several steps back. Boom. After a while of circling, Black Hawk landed firmly on the ground. Subsequently, under the gaze of everyone, this Black Hawk continues to grow in size. Looking at Black Eagle, whose figure continued to grow, the surprise in everyone's eyes became even stronger. Wait until Black Eagle's size stabilizes. Chen Hongquan turned his attention to everyone. He opened his mouth and said, everyone lines up in 2 teams and climbs on the back of Black Eagle one by one. We will head to Xuanqing sect now. Chen Hongquan finished speaking. The others immediately began to take action. Although they were a little afraid of Black Hawk in their hearts, everyone's eyes were filled with excitement. After all, can soar in the sky on a Black Eagle. Just thinking about it makes people feel excited. Zhang Chen turned to look at Zhang Wenqing, who was looking aside. He said softly, Father, please take care of yourself. If there is anything that cannot be solved, you can send someone to notify me. Zhang Wenqing, haha, just don't worry. After you go to Xuanqing sect, remember not to act on your own initiative. The most important thing is to work hard to improve your cultivation. Zhang Chen, I understand, father. Subsequently, Zhang Chen and Ji Yu Xiao walked towards Black Eagle. Zhang Yu and the other two followed soon after. Not a moment. All the entry-level disciples boarded the back of the Black Eagle. Brush, Chen Hongquan's figure flashed. Quickly come to the top of Black Eagle. He said in a deep voice, let's go. As Chen Hongquan finished speaking, the Black Eagle that was lying on the ground slowly stood up and spread its huge wings instantly. Then he waved quickly. Thump, thump, as the Black Hawk continues to flap its wings. Everyone is getting further and further away from the ground. The strong wind kept beating on everyone's faces. After rising to a certain distance, an energy shield quickly appeared on Black Eagle's body, isolating the surrounding wind. With the emergence of shields, everyone's expressions instantly relaxed a lot. Chirp, after uttering a cry, Black Hawk rushed forward quickly. The speed is very fast. Looking at the receding scenery around them, everyone's faces showed excitement. At this time, even Zhang Chen looked surprised, looking around curiously. Ji Yu Xiao's expression was very calm. Zhang Yu's reaction was similar to hers, and then he sat cross-legged and started practicing. Zhang Daoxin seemed a little heartless, so he took the prepared food and started eating. Watching Zhang Yu close his eyes and relax, Zhang Daoxin came directly to Zhang Chen. He said softly, "Second brother, princess, I have prepared a lot of food. Do you want some?" Zhang Chen, "No, you can keep it for yourself." Ji Yu Xiao also shook her head slightly. Declined Zhang Daoxin's kindness. At this time, to the left of Zhang Chen and others, a group of people gathered together. A man in brocade robe saw Ji Yu Xiao and Zhang Chen standing together, with a gloomy look in his eyes. Seeing the ugly look on the brocade-robed man's face, one of the men immediately showed a flattering expression. He said softly, "Mr. Shu, only you can be worthy of such a stunning beauty as Princess Xiao. Do you need me to warn that boy?" Upon hearing this, the other people also spoke in agreement. "Yes, sir, you have a thunder body, and Zhang Chen is just a mortal body. Although his results are indeed very good, he still cannot compare with young master. Listen to the compliments from the crowd around you." The face of the man in brocade robe looked much better. After withdrawing his gaze, he said in a low voice, "No need, the woman I like must be conquered by myself. I, Shu Tian, don't even bother to use such despicable methods." Listen to Shu Tian say this. There was another round of compliments from everyone. Master Shu's magnanimity is indeed extraordinary. After joining the Xuanqing sect, he will definitely rise to the top and become a peerless strong man. Not bad, not bad. After retracting his gaze, Shu Tian also found a seat and sat down. Actually, Shu Tianai is the son of an aristocratic family, but it is not under the jurisdiction of Tianlong dynasty. The reason why he chose to join Xuanqing sect this time, it was because he found out that within the Xuanqing sect, there was a forbidden area called Tianlea, which contained the origin of thunder and lightning. The purpose of Shu Tian's trip is to find the origin of thunder and lightning. As long as you can successfully get the source, his heavenly thunder body can be fully activated, and his strength will be doubled by then. When I think of that scene, Shu Tian couldn't help but reveal a smile. Boom! Just then, a roar caught everyone's attention. Look up. I found that there were dark clouds right in front of me, and thunder and lightning kept flashing among the black clouds. See this scene. Many disciples had a look of fear on their faces. Because, judging from the current situation, the area covered by black clouds is exactly where he and others must pass. Looking at the ugly faces of everyone, Chen Hongquan spoke slowly. Don't worry, everyone, this is just an ordinary thunder and lightning. It cannot break through the Black Eagle's shield at all. You will not be in danger. Listen to what Chen Hongquan said. Everyone's ugly faces looked much better. Other side, Ji Yu Xiao looked at Zhang Chen's calm expression. He couldn't help but ask, "Why don't you look scared at all?" Zhang Chen smiled slightly. He opened his mouth to respond. Didn't Elder Chen say that thunder and lightning can't hurt us, so what's there to be afraid of? Yeah, Hearing Zhang Chen's answer, Ji Yu Xiao obviously didn't believe it, but when she thought of Zhang Chen's initial burst of strength, she immediately showed a clear expression. Actually, what Ji Yu Xiao didn't know was, Zhang Chen was at the moment of enlightenment. Zhang Chen had seen scenes that were several times more terrifying than this one. Such a small scene really couldn't make him feel any psychological fluctuations. Buzz. Just then, there was a noise behind Black Hawk. Everyone immediately went out looking for fame. I saw. A flying boat was approaching, and Du Qingfeng was standing on the bow, looking at the Xuanqing sect people indifferently. Yun Shishui was standing on the deck. She saw Zhang Yu and others at a glance, and a cold look appeared in her eyes. But, after a quick glance, Yun Shishui withdrew her gaze. At this time, there were many disciples on the flying boat. They were all looking at Yun Shishui with their peripheral vision. But when she saw Wang Ning beside her, the group of people quickly retracted their gazes. Du Qingfeng turned his attention to Chen Hongquan. A sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. He said sarcastically, "Old Ghost Chen, your Zhanqing sect won't be able to get through this, right? Do you need me to give you a ride?" Looking at the mocking look on Du Qingfeng's face, Chen Hongquan glanced at him. He said in a cold voice, "No need, you should take care of yourself. This kind of trivial matter can't trouble me, Zhanqing sect." HMPH. Listen to what Chen Hongquan said. Du Qingfeng snorted coldly. He spoke again, "Really? I'll wait and see." The words fell. The warship slowly picked up speed. He rushed directly towards the black cloud. Chen Hongquan saw this scene. He gently patted Black Eagle's head. After getting Chen Hongquan's signal, Black Eagle quickly rushed towards the black cloud. Boom! As it gets closer, muffled thunder kept coming from the sky, and thunderlight kept flashing in front of everyone's eyes. Even though Chen Hongquan had made it clear that there would be no danger from this thunder and lightning, many people still showed fear and their faces became much paler. Chen Hongquan saw this scene. He spoke loudly. "When you embark on the road of spiritual practice, you are destined to compete with heaven and earth. This journey will definitely be full of ups and downs. If you can't even overcome this fear, then what's the point of talking about the avenue? As a monk, you should have a fearless heart, so that you can go further." After listening to Chen Hongquan's words, many disciples looked thoughtful. Although their faces were still pale, their fear had weakened a lot. See this scene. Chen Hongquan's face looked much better. At this time, the happiest person is Shu Tian. Thunder and lightning surged in the clouds. There was a lot of thunder and lightning surrounding him. He found out his cultivation speed has accelerated a lot. And, with the movement of the exercises, Shu Tian discovered he can actually absorb the power of thunder and lightning in the clouds. At this time, raindrops kept falling from the sky. After rushing into the dark clouds, the surrounding light became very dim, and everyone's vision was greatly disturbed. Boom! The sound of thunder continued. The rain in the sky is getting heavier and heavier. But, has a black hawk or a shield? Those raindrops from the sky. You can't meet people at all. After a period of adjustment, the fear on everyone's faces slowly receded, and they began to look around curiously. At this time, Chen Hongquan also noticed Shu Tian's actions, with a look of satisfaction on his face. Although the opponent's heavenly thunder body is not perfect, he can still be regarded as a rare genius. Actually, Shu Tianing joined Xuanqing sect. Chen Hongquan was also quite surprised. After all, Du Qingfeng's conditions were not bad at that time. Other side, Du Qingfeng also noticed the situation of Zhan Qingzong, and the smile on his face immediately faded a lot. Snort. After snorting coldly, Du Qingfeng quickly withdrew his gaze, increased the speed of the ship a few points, and rushed out in the other direction. Chirp. Black Hawk also suddenly accelerated. It flew in the opposite direction of the warship. Hoo. The sound of strong wind kept ringing in everyone's ears. Puff. After half a stick of incense, Black Eagle led everyone out of the thundercloud area, and the sun fell on everyone again. At the same time, Black Hawk's speed is also increasing, and the surrounding scenery has turned into an afterimage. Other side, Shu Tian slowly opened his eyes. His expression seemed a little unfinished. The effect of a little bit of thunder and lightning is so obvious. If I can get the origin of thunder and lightning, I can definitely be reborn. Think of this. Shu Tian's eyes showed a hint of excitement. At this time, Zhang Chen also lost interest. After finding a place, I started to close my eyes and relax. Time flies. The rest of the people also gradually became quiet, and the whistling wind kept passing by everyone's ears. Unknowingly, they had been on Black Hawk for half a day. When everyone was bored, several towering mountain peaks appeared in their sight. Various buildings are located on these peaks, and there is a winding stone staircase on each peak. There are thickets of ancient trees and lingering mist. It looks like a paradise on earth. After seeing this scene, everyone immediately showed excitement, become energetic instantly. They all stood up and looked around. Chirp, the Black Hawk roared. Then began a rapid downward dive. Zhang Yu also ended his training at this time. He took a step forward and came to Zhang Chen. Boom. After a loud noise, the Black Hawk stopped smoothly on a platform. At the same time, everyone found out. There were many people around the platform, looking at them with smiles on their faces. Followed closely, there was also a burst of discussion. The last group of junior brothers have arrived. This time, don't compete with me. I have reserved their points first. Why did you make a reservation? Do you think we will let this good opportunity pass? Besides, they still have a one-day protection period, so your reservation is of no use. Yes, if you want points, you have to rely on your strength to speak, not just your words. Listening to these strange discussions, everyone on the Black Eagle looked puzzled. Especially when they saw the fiery gazes of those people, they felt even more confused. After Chen Hongquan saw the people around him, he spoke loudly. Okay, stop hanging around here and go do what you need to do. Otherwise, don't blame me for sending you to Sigu Cliff. Chen Hongquan finished speaking. The expressions of those around him immediately changed. One of them said, Elder Chen, we are just here to get acquainted with our junior brothers and sisters. Since you have spoken, we will leave now. Yeah, let's leave now. The words fell. The people around them fled quickly and disappeared without a trace after a while. Their movements looked unusually skillful. Obviously this isn't the first time. After the group of disciples left, Chen Hongquan turned his head and looked at everyone. He opened his mouth and said, Come with me, I will take you to the entrance registration now. Upon hearing this, everyone quickly jumped off the Black Eagle's back. Wait until everyone lands. Black Eagle's wings suddenly spread with force. Instantly disappeared into the clouds. Chen Hongquan. Okay, come with me. Subsequently, Chen Hongquan led everyone along the trail. Walked towards the attic at the top of the mountain. He pondered for a while. Chen Hongquan spoke again. After becoming a handyman disciple, you will have 100 points in your identity token. If you want to exchange for any resources in the sect, you need to use the points. Listen to what Chen Hongquan said. Everyone understood immediately. Points are the universal currency of Xuanqing sect. Zhang Chen pondered for a while. He asked, Elder Chen, how do we get points, and what about the protection period they mentioned just now? Hear Zhang Chen ask this. The others also had curious looks in their eyes. Chen Hongquan spoke slowly. Points can be exchanged by completing tasks. As for the protection period, after completing the entry procedures, you will have a one-day protection period, and then there will be a one-day plundering period. As Chen Hongquan slowly narrated, everyone finally understood what was going on. Within the protection period, no one can take action against you. When the one-day protection time has passed, as long as they are not promoted to core disciples, they can attack the new students and plunder the points in the tokens. Likewise, if you are strong enough, you can also counter-plunder your opponent's points. Certainly, after the looting period, those with high cultivation cannot rob those with low cultivation, but those with low cultivation can challenge monks with high cultivation. This is a kind of protection in disguise. Therefore, the plundering period is a feast for these old disciples. After listening to Chen Hongquan's narration, everyone's faces were immediately filled with ugliness. Zhang Chen and Zhang Yu looked at each other. A smile couldn't help but appear on the corner of his mouth. Actually, regarding the plundering period of Xuanqing sect, Zhang Chen can also understand. This is a rule of the sect. I just want myself and others to deeply understand the cruelty of the spiritual world and the importance of strength. After all, if the strength is strong enough, even during the plundering period, no one would dare to take action. Looking at the ugly faces of the others, Chen Hongquan said nothing and led the way with an indifferent expression. Everyone is not stupid. After thinking for a while, I immediately understood the meaning. Although their faces were still full of embarrassment, many people showed a fighting spirit in their eyes, and even looked forward to the predators. It didn't take long. Under the leadership of Chen Hongquan, everyone walked into the attic and received their own identity tokens. Most of them are handyman disciples. There are not many outer disciples. And the inner disciples, except for the 3 Zhang Chen brothers and Ji Yu Xiao. There is also Xu Tian. After receiving the token, Zhang Chen discovered that the number above was 500. The amount for outer disciples is 200. Ahem. After everyone calms down, a cough came from Chen Hongquan's mouth. After hearing the sound, everyone immediately raised their heads. They all cast their eyes towards him. Chen Hongquan. Okay, someone will arrange accommodation for you next. If you have any questions, just ask them directly. Tap tap tap. Chen Hongquan had just finished speaking. There was a sound of footsteps outside the door. A man and a woman stepped in. Hello, Elder Chen. After entering the main hall, the two of them greeted Chen Hongquan in unison. Chen Hongquan, okay, I'll leave these new junior brothers to you too. Let's take them to get familiar with the environment first. Chen Hongquan finished speaking. The two nodded slightly. I saw. The friar stepped out. He opened his mouth and said, Common servant disciple, follow me. I will take you to your residence now. When the servant disciples heard this, he followed him out immediately. Subsequently, the female monk also took a step forward. A faint smile appeared on his face. He said softly, follow me. After looking at each other, Zhang Chen and others followed the woman out of the hall. Walked forward for a while. The woman spoke again. My name is Zixi, you can call me Senior Sister Z. If you have anything you don't understand, you can ask me. As long as I know something, I will try my best to answer your questions. As Zixi's words fell, Xu Tian immediately took a step forward. A spring-like smile appeared on his face. He said calmly, Senior Sister Z, do the outer disciples and inner disciples live in the same area? While talking, Xu Tian kept looking at Zixi with his peripheral vision. I have to say, although the other party's appearance is not as good as Ji Yu Xiao, she is still a rare beauty. Looking at the other party's tall figure and proud breasts, a fiery color flashed in Xu Tian's eyes. I heard this question from Xu Tian. Zixi smiled slightly. He opened his mouth and responded, yes, the outer disciples do live in the same area as the inner disciples, but if you want to obtain a high-quality cave, it is inseparable from your own strength. Subsequently, Zixi told everyone the rules. After becoming an outer disciple, you are eligible for a separate cave. The location of the cave is also very particular. The closer to the cave in the inner circle, the richer the concentration of spiritual energy in it. But the cave is not fixed. Everyone is qualified to challenge. As long as they defeat the original cave owner, they can replace him. This is why Zixi said, high-quality caves are related to one's own strength. After all, if there is no strength, even if you get the best cave, it's impossible to hold on. Wait until everyone has digested the information. Zixi spoke again. Since you have just joined the sect and have the benefits of being a new student, I will place you in the top 10 caves. The follow-up protection period has passed. If someone comes to challenge you, just do what you can. I heard that I could live in the first 10 caves. Everyone's faces immediately showed joy. Zhang Chen also nodded slightly. He had to admit it. Zan Qingzong's move is really high. Let the freshmen live in a top-level cave from the beginning. If they are later driven to a lower-level cave, the gap in my heart must be huge. Therefore, in order to regain the top cave abode again, everyone will definitely practice hard. This drives the sect's strength to continue to grow. Judging from the current rules, Zhang Chen personally thinks it is very applicable, and the effect it can produce must be very good. Logically speaking, if it continues to operate like this, Xuanqing sect will not only become stronger and stronger, but at least it will not decline. But what Zhang Chen couldn't figure out was, the real fact is exactly the opposite. The Xuanqing sect's strength has been continuously weakening in recent years. This made Zhang Chen feel suspicious. At this time, Looking at Zhang Chen, who looked thoughtful, Ji Xiao had a look of doubt in his eyes. He couldn't help but whisper, "What's wrong with you?" Hear Ji Xiao's voice. Zhang Chen shook it gently. He responded, "It's nothing, just a little distracted." Zhang Daoshan followed Zhang Yu, looking around curiously, stuffing some food into his mouth from time to time. After taking a look at Zhang Chen, who was walking in front, Zhang Daoshan turned his attention to Zhang Yu, who was aside. He spoke softly, "Brother, the princess is here to break off the engagement with my second brother, but the situation doesn't seem right." Zhang Yu smiled slightly. He opened his mouth and responded, "Why, don't you hope that the princess will terminate the engagement?" Zhang Daoshan, "No, that's not what I meant. I'm just curious." Zhang Yu, "Okay, you have to believe Brother Chen, he is very smart and nothing will happen to him." Listen to Zhang Yu say this. Zhang Daoshan nodded slightly. Then a smile appeared on his face. He whispered in a low voice, "Actually, I think the second brother and the princess are quite compatible. It would be great if they could get together." Zhang Daoshan's voice fell. Zhang Yu also nodded slightly. Just then, the people in front stopped. Zixi turned around and looked at everyone. He said softly, "This is Qingyan Peak, and it is also where you will live in the future. Of course, if you are promoted to core disciples, you can get a better cave." Everyone looked in the direction Zixi pointed. They immediately found a lot of caves. Each cave has a corresponding number outside. The number gets smaller as you go inside. Without much hesitation, Zixi led a few people to walk inside. As they continued to go deeper, the concentration of spiritual energy in the air became much richer. After feeling this change, the expectation in everyone's eyes became stronger. Zixi's work efficiency was very fast. It didn't take long. He arranged accommodation for the 6 outer disciples. Ji Xiao was arranged in Cave No. 4. After saying hello to Zhang Chen and others, she walked into the cave. As for the first 3 caves, they were booked by Zhang Chen and his 3 brothers. After arranging everything, Zixi did not stay here for long, but turned around and left directly. Zhang Chen took the jade talisman and walked to the front of cave number 1. Buzz. Boom. As Zhang Chen injected his true energy, the stone door of the cave slowly opened, and a stream of pure spiritual energy gushed out instantly. Tap tap tap. Zhang Chen stepped directly in. After entering the cave, Zhang Chen showed a look of surprise on his face. It is worthy of being Cave No. 1. The concentration of spiritual energy is at least 5 times stronger than outside. If you can practice here all the time, you can really save a lot of time. Thinking of this, Zhang Chen no longer wasted time. He started practicing immediately. Boom. As the chaos creation art continued to operate, a large amount of spiritual energy in the cave gathered towards Zhang Chen crazily. As these spiritual energies continued to pour in, Zhang Chen felt that his pores were dilated a lot. He felt warm all over. At this time, a vortex appeared next to Zhang Chen, and the spiritual energy in the cave rushed into his body crazily. After absorbing it for a while, Zhang Chen felt that the 9 major cyclones in his body were basically saturated. To his surprise, I have been absorbing it crazily for so long, but the concentration of spiritual energy in the cave has not weakened much. Other side, the rest of the people are also practicing crazily. After all, there is only one day. You have to race against time. At night, Zhang Chen closed his eyes slightly and sat cross-legged on the stone platform, silently comprehending the Piao Miao sword art. At this time, Zhang Chen relied on the sea of consciousness. Started simulating Piao Miao sword art. The current Miao Miao sword technique was redeemed by Zhang Chen with chance points, and its grade is the top grade of Zon level. Fluttering white clothes, Zhang Chen's soul was holding a long sword in the sea of consciousness and waving it constantly, and the speed of the sword was fast and slow. It looks very ordinary, but there are those terrifying air waves around. But the terrifying ability of this sword skill is vividly displayed. After half a stick of incense. After Zhang Chen took a long breath, he slowly opened his eyes, with a look of satisfaction in his eyes. After this period of understanding, he basically mastered the key points of Piao Miao sword art. I have to say, direct transmission through the system. It really saves a lot of time. After replenishing the deficient spiritual energy in the body, Zhang Chen did not continue to practice. Boom. The door opens. Zhang Chen walked towards room 3. Not long after he walked out, he noticed a lot of people. Zhang Chen could feel it clearly. Many people saw their own figure. There was a hint of greed in his eyes. And this look is still undisguised. See this scene. The corners of Zhang Chen's mouth couldn't help but raise slightly. To know, among the inner disciples, the one with the highest cultivation level is only at the peak of the Divine Sea realm. If it were before, Zhang Chen may have some trouble facing the peak of the Divine Sea realm. But after taking Xuanlong pill, Zhang Chen's strength has been greatly improved, and now this strength can no longer threaten him. In other words, among the inner disciples, Zhang Chen is basically invincible. And, in Xuanqingzong, just break through to the realm of creation. You can become a core disciple. The Divine Sea realm and the creation realm don't sound far away, but the difficulties involved are unimaginable. Among the 100 cultivators at the peak of the Divine Sea realm, it is already quite good to have 10 break through to the creation realm. Therefore, every creation realm is very important to the sect. Not a moment, Zhang Chen arrived in front of cave number 2. Boom. He didn't wait for Zhang Chen to take action. The stone door of Zhang Yu's cave opened. Zhang Chen took advantage of the situation and walked in. Kaka followed Zhang Chen into the cave. The stone doors slowly closed together. As the stone door closes, there was a burst of discussion around. This Zhang family is really not simple. They actually produced 3 geniuses at once. Isn't this a hidden family? HMPH, what a hidden family, they're just a small family in Kamikaze City. They don't even have the physique, so they can't be considered real geniuses at all. That's right, I heard that the Zhang family brothers have been blessed with supernatural powers since childhood. This may be the main reason why they stand out. They are not geniuses. As soon as these words came out, the rest of the people immediately showed their understanding. Subsequently, someone said again, "Hey, I don't care if they are talented or not. I only care about their points now, which is a big fortune." When it comes to points, the others also had fiery looks in their eyes. Actually, I'm also quite curious as to why Princess Xiao, with her status, would join the Zanqing sect. Upon hearing this, just speak immediately. No matter why you come here, it's not our concern. The 6th prince has been pursuing Princess Xiao. Now that Princess Xiao is here, the 6th prince will definitely not miss this opportunity. You'd better suppress your thoughts. I think you know the 6th prince's methods better than I do. Upon hearing this, the man who originally spoke couldn't help but his eyes narrowed, and his body trembled involuntarily. After stabilizing your mood, he spoke softly. "Brother Long is joking, I won't do anything stupid. Okay, let's leave here first. There are many people targeting them. Let's go back and discuss countermeasures first." Subsequently, the person hiding in the darkness slowly left. Inside the cave, Zhang Chen and Zhang Yu sat opposite each other. There is a pot of hot tea in front of them. At this time, Zhang Chen discovered his eldest brother's strength has actually broken through to the 1st level of the Divine Sea realm, and his Azure Dragon body has been activated by 20%. He looked at Zhang Chen, who was directly opposite him. Zhang Yu said softly, "Second brother, you came all the way to see me at night. Did something happen?" Zhang Chen shook his head slightly. He responded, "It's nothing serious, I just want to hear what your plans are, brother." Upon hearing this, Zhang Yu immediately understood the meaning. A faint smile appeared on his face. He spoke softly, "What you want to ask is about the right to plunder, right?" Zhang Chen nodded slightly. Actually, if it weren't for Zhang Yu's behavior last time, Zhang Chen wouldn't have made this trip. Ahem. Seeing Zhang Chen's profound expression, Zhang Yu couldn't help but cough twice, with an embarrassed expression on his face. After stabilizing your mood, Zhang Yu spoke softly, "Fight for the inevitable, this is my attitude." As soon as Zhang Yu said these words, Zhang Chen knew what he was thinking immediately. Just when Zhang Chen was thinking, Zhang Yu spoke again, "Brother Chen, your current strength is probably not as simple as the 8th level of the body forging realm, right?" The words fell. Zhang Yu looked at Zhang Chen with a smile. Hear this. Zhang Chen was slightly stunned for a moment, then a smile appeared on his face. He responded softly, "I really can't hide it from you, big brother. Zhang Yu can see his own strength. Zhang Chen didn't feel surprised. After all, the other party was fused with the Emperor's remnant soul. The knowledge must have been extraordinary. Say it again. Not long ago, he passed on the technique of hiding cultivation to Zhang Yu and others, and various factors came together. It's not difficult to guess. Got Zhang Chen's response. A look of understanding appeared on Zhang Yu's face. Subsequently, the cave fell into silence. The two brothers looked at each other. A smile appeared on his face at the same time. Subsequently, the two brothers chatted for a long time. At midnight, Zhang Chen walked out of Zhang Yu's cave. Boom. As Zhang Chen left, the cave fell into silence. Zhang Yu did not continue practicing. He murmured softly, Xuanqing sect is just a starting point. From now on, we three brothers will definitely be able to stand proudly at the top of the 9 heavens. When it comes to this, Zhang Yu showed a sharp look on his body. Unknowingly, the night passed like this. There is still some time before the protection period ends, so no one will bother Zhang Chen and others. As time goes on, more and more people gathered outside the cave. Zhang Chen and others also stopped practicing. I chose to walk out of the cave. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.